So yeah, obviously that was disappointing, but the lads kept going and didn't let it affect them too much, and I thought we were well worth a point in the end.
And to come back from that early setback against a team with the quality that Eastleigh do have, showed a lot of character from the team.
I think so, yeah. That we've had some lows over the past couple of weeks. Last weekend was a big weekend for us, and we didn't get the points that we wanted from it. And the way in which we lost the 2 points against Chester was such a sickener. And me personally, it took a little while to get over. You're replaying it in your head and things that you could have done differently. But we had to get a reaction today from the players, and we had to make sure that we got something from the game. And in the end, we got it. With the Meals chance with sort of 10-15 minutes to go, going through one-on-one with the keeper. Again, on maybe a bit of better pitch when it's not bobbling up around his knees, he slots it home. But no, I think we'd have taken a point beforehand, and I think the performance again, the attacking performance we put in on Monday against Chester, and the way we sort of were resolute and strong and solid today, gives us a lot of heart going into the last 5 games now.
Yeah, and the goal came from James Hurst. That was a bit of a special finish as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, good strike. We said, especially going towards that end, the penalty area there's predominantly made of sand, so difficult to keep your foot in, and we said try and get your shots away and follow things in. He struck it really well, and he's got that in his locker. Great strike from him, and yeah, you could sense a relief amongst the players when it hit the back of the net. We got back on level terms, and it was certainly nothing more than we deserved.
Yeah, and another nice little bonus. Ollie Johnson got a nice bit of action, a good sort of period in the second half. That's another positive to take away.
Yeah, he came on and helped change the game on Monday. Probably the conditions suited him a bit better. Better pitch and with a bit of rain, it was a bit slick, and we could move the ball quickly to him. A bit bobbly today, and difficult for him to really have a massive impact, but he did the other side well, work back and help the team out defensively, and he's always got that little bit of magic in him at the top end of the pitch. But we come under a bit of pressure late on, and it was sort of hard to get him on the ball further up that pitch. But great to have him back and have him as an option in the squad and the team, and I'm sure he'll have a big part to play over these last 5 games.
Yeah, and it doesn't get any easier for the Lions. Home games against Cheltenham and Wrexham. How do you feel going into those after getting a point against another high-flying team?
Well, yeah, you look at the last few weeks. We've played Eastleigh, Tranmere, Grimsby, Forest Green. Teams right at the top of the league, the big full-time teams, big budgets, and we've got putting really good performances against them and got quite a few good results in terms of draws. We've just not turned over one of those big sides yet, so it'd be a perfect time to start next weekend.
Ball played forward from Stephen Trench into the penalty area, chested down by Danny Hall, picked up here by Adam Boyce towards the left-hand side of the penalty area, gets it back in. Liam Dickinson, Nicky Bottle! He has put the ball in at the edge of the 6-yard box. Has Nicky Bottle turned this game round and perhaps possibly sent Guiseley through to the Vanarama Conference?
Good afternoon and welcome to Guiseley Radio here at Nethermoor. It is Grand National Day, and today the Lions have a particularly big fence to clear in the shape of the leaders of the Vanarama National League, Cheltenham Town, who are in the home straight of a promotion race and looking to tighten their grip on that automatic promotion spot and book themselves a first-class trip back to the Football League. It's closing on a photo finish in the relegation battle as well, as the Lions enter the final furlong, but with a creditable record against the top 6 teams in this league and boosted by improved performances against Chester and Eastleigh. There's hope that Mark Bauer might be able to spare the whip and get Guiseley over the line with time to spare. We'll have full match commentary from Nik Keefe and Colin Robertson, build up from myself and Chris Bell. This is Guiseley Radio, and we're under starters' orders.
Norburn goes for goal. Oliver Norburn! What a hit! All of 35 yards out. He had the sighter earlier. That is an absolutely stunning strike.
Good afternoon and welcome to a clear and bright day at Nethermoor here for the visit of the Vanarama National League leaders, Cheltenham Town. I'm joined this afternoon by Chris Bell. Chris, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Chris, how do you feel about today's game? We took a 5-0 defeat in the last game. How do you feel?
It's going to be interesting. You know, we need to perform like we did against Grimsby and Tranmere in particular at home. Probably got Chester into the mix as well up until that late equaliser. You know, we need the performance levels because Chester are a side that score goals for fun. Thankfully, their top goal scorer, Danny Wright, is out with suspension for the next 3 games starting today. However, they have got very likely replacements. Dan Holman in particular, who joined from Woking in January as well, has made a massive impact already. So, you know, we're going to have to be on as guns and ready to go.
Ready to go when the starting pistol fires. Enough of the horse racing puns. If you've got a bet on today, it's the Grand National. Good luck to you. We'll have a quick rattle through the teams here, just as they've just come in. Cheltenham start with Jonathan Flatt, Jack Barthram, George McLennan. Kyle Storer is the captain today. Danny Parslow, Harry Pell, Amari Morgan-Smith, Jack Munns, Cameron Burgess, Rob Dickey and Dan Holman. On the bench, Kitcher, Waters, Hall, Rowe and Dayton. For the Lions this afternoon, Steve Drench is in goal, Ryan Toulson, Ben Parker, Danny Lowe, Jake Lawler, Gavin Rothery, Will Hatfield, Emil Sinclair, Rob Atkinson, Oliver Norburn, and the goal-scoring hero our last Saturday, James Hurst. On the bench, Boys, Craddock, Johnson, Dudley, and Saints be praised, a substitute goalkeeper in Dan Atkinson.
Yeah, that makes me question, though, how thin we are in the squad at the moment.
Yeah, Dan Atkinson's playing centre-half today. Other than that.
In terms of the teams, though, the one thing that stands out for me for Cheltenham, I'm glad Billy Waters is on the bench. He scored 2 in the 5-0 win for Cheltenham at Wadden Road. He was a very lively player. As I say, to be fair, they've strengthened since then, and that's what's very, very scary.
I don't think... I mean, obviously, we have to be aware this is the league leaders. They're tightening their grip on that promotion place, but, you know, we've got a pretty good record against the teams in the top 6. You've got teams like Grimsby and Tranmere who came here and only came away with a point. We've taken 4 points off Braintree this season. We got creditable performances against Forest Green Rovers, even though neither of those ended in a win. So record's not too bad against those teams, and keep those levels of performances up that we've seen against Chester, that we saw against Eastleigh. The Lions have a chance today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, out of the bottom 6 sides, we have the second best record against the top 6 teams and the best record against the bottom 6.
It's true, and yeah, I had half an hour spare at work today. Work this week, so I did a bit of research. But it's not. It is the sort of game that the Lions fans are going to look at and go, well, you know, anything other than a defeat is going to be absolutely brilliant. But I think it's
anything's a bonus. Let's be honest. We're against the side that are gunning for the league title and are in a very strong position to get it.
They've shown precious little weakness this season so far. But here we are at Nethermoor. It's a bright and sunny day. I can tell you, if I may use another horse racing pun, the going is good to firm on the pitch today. It's looking pretty decent out there.
I mean, to be fair, this is one of the best services you'll see at this stage of the season, especially in this league. I mean, you were at Eastleigh last week, for example.
Yeah. And there was a lot going on here at Nethermoor, and it's the work Howell's done. That A-grade rating was achieved, and there's also an ongoing fundraising for a new electronic scoreboard here at Nethermoor, and that's being led by the Supporters Club, and we spoke earlier this week to Mick Glossop.
Some great news this week about the funds that have been raised for the scoreboard. It's absolutely a massive tally, isn't it, compared to the $5,000 you were looking for, and you've picked up the scoreboard. Just tell us a bit about what the plans are.
The plans are, we had a meeting with the club, and it was agreed that because we've raised so much that we will now take control fully of sourcing, installing and paying for the scoreboard. I met with a company here on Thursday. We've looked at the location, we've decided where the best location is, and he's given me an initial quote of between 10 and 11k for the scoreboard. The donation is from a supporter who wishes to remain anonymous. We would like to say thank you to that supporter for that donation, because it is a fantastic amount in anybody's opinion. We could really do with just pushing this on now, so that hopefully we can get it installed by the end of the season, by the start of next season.
So final fundraising push, and it's a much better scoreboard, isn't it? It looks absolutely quality.
We were looking we were looking at something where the club could actually raise revenue from, not just have the scores on. We always had it in his mind that we wanted something that companies could use to advertise their company before the game and at half time, and just increase the revenue of the club, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to move the club forward by helping fund stuff, and that's what we're trying to do.
So it's a sort of scoreboard where you can imagine you have these kind of visuals of adverts and be able to sell that space to sponsors.
Yeah, it's an image graphics. It'll be just like pictures on it. The scoreboard company are going to actually do a mock-up for us of using one of the sponsors off the top of the stands, and when that mock-up's sent to me, I will then release it to everybody, and so you can actually see how it's going to look and where it's going to be.
Superb. Now, the other thing that was announced was the Craig Shearston Award for Player of the Season, and a really fitting tribute.
Yeah, Craig's one of his own, wasn't he? Everybody loved Craig. I never heard anybody have a bad word to say about him. His wit, how he was with away supporters, every dog that came in the ground, he bought him a badge, hot dog. He was part of Guiseley AFC, and we felt that his memory should be honoured and kept here forever, and it will be known as the Craig Shearston Award from now on.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic tribute. So just going back to the scoreboard, one last thing. What can we do to get behind the final push?
Well, everybody buys the golden goals anyway. We've got a 50-50 draw that's from now until the Torquay game. After the Torquay game, we're going to draw it. So whatever we raise, the more people have a go at it, the more we raise, and the more the prize money is as well. And that'd be great if people could just get behind that.
Brilliant. Cheers, Mick. Pleasure's all mine.
Welcome back to Nethermoor. That was Colin Robertson having a chat to Mick Glossop of the Guiseley Supporters Club. The two teams are on the pitch this afternoon and just lining up for the pleasantries in pre-match. We will, of course, have full match commentary. We'll be with you all the way through this one until the final whistle blows, and you'll be joined by Nik Keefe. But first, Colin Robertson.
Thank you, Dave. And you can probably tell the atmosphere is building up here at Nethermoor Park as we get ready for what is a crucial game, as each of the 5 remaining matches are for the Lions. The hope that we can retain our place in this division is based upon the fact that we can pick up some wins in these final 5 games. It's a huge task this afternoon nonetheless against Cheltenham Town, who of course are the team at the top of the division, and it's probably not going to get much more difficult than this one. Delighted to have Nik Keefe back in the team. It's been a while, hasn't it, Nick, actually, since you've been up here in the old commentary box?
I think we were safe in mid-table the last time I was here.
Hopefully can bring back some of the good karma that you had before.
I don't feel very calm.
No, me neither. Let's go through these 2 lineups first of all, and then just have a comment from you really on the teams, just while the referee's going through the final pre-match rituals. Steve Drench in goal for Guiseley, Ryan Toulson, Ben Parker, Danny Lowe, Jake Lawler, Gavin Rothery, Will Hatfield, Emile Sinclair, Rob Atkinson, Oliver Norburn and James Hurst. On the bench, Adam Boyes, Tom Craddock, Dan Atkinson, Ollie Johnson, Anthony Dudley. And for the visitors, Jonathan Flatt, Jack Barthram, George McLennan, Kyle Storer, the captain, Danny Parslow, Harry Pell, Amari Morgan-Smith, Jack Munns, Cameron Burgess, Rob Dickey, Dan Holman, and on the bench, Callum Kitcher, Billy Waters, Asa Hall, James Rowe and James Dayton. Pick the bones out of that starting lineup then for me, Nick, in terms of the way that we'll be setting about formation-wise this afternoon.
Well, there seems to be a lot of midfield cover, doesn't there, today? There's only really the one out-and-out striker in the team, that being Sinclair, the scorer of 2 in that kind of ridiculous game against Chester. But loads of attacking options on the bench, 4 strikers in fact. So I think Mark is going out slightly cautiously today, trying to cover a bit extra in midfield, and has the option to go and chase the game potentially later on. I'm interested to see if it pans out. Quite often, actually, we get more space against the top teams because they don't worry so much about leaving so many in defence against us. So we could have an open game, a surprisingly open game, in fact.
Well, the match is underway as
Cheltenham kick-off. They're going to be shooting from left to right towards the Bowling Green end of the ground. Cheltenham playing in a purple kit. Guiseley shooting towards the Railway end of the ground in usual home kit of white shirts, navy blue shorts and socks. Stephen Drench has been the recipient, Jake Lawler's been the recipient of a nudge that has resulted in a free kick for Guiseley just outside their own 18-yard box, and a chance for the Lions to poke the ball forward up towards James Hurst. He tries to peel off and away from Cameron Burgess, but the visitors defend well, and McLennan lofts the ball up towards the halfway line. It's recovered by Ben Parker, who looks to me to be lining up in a central defensive position this afternoon at centre half, with Danny Lowe out on left back. The captain now, Storer for Cheltenham, picks the ball up in the centre circle, threads it towards Harry Pell, but Guiseley dispossess him, and then Danny Lowe with a firm clearance plays it forward. Norburn chasing the ball down but can't get past Parslow, and then eventually hoofed up by Cheltenham towards the 18-yard box. Rob Atkinson gets a head on it, and then it's completely cleared by Toulson before being picked up again, and the Robins thread the ball down the left flank towards Harry Pell. He's dispossessed, and it goes back to the halfway line, where Storer, with a more incisive ball, picks out Dan Holman, a danger man this afternoon, no doubt. Out now to McLennan, played into the area, on the edge of the 6-yard box, a chance for Cheltenham to have a shot away, but there's a whistle beforehand. A nudge in the box results in a Guiseley free kick, and that's early danger passes.
Yeah, as it was, Stephen Drench actually made quite a smart stop with his feet to the shot. As you say, play had already been called back. A couple of surprises in this lineup, as you say, Colin, actually, now that we see them in formation. Hadn't anticipated Ben Parker playing at centre-back. Normally when both he and Danny Lowe are in defence, Lowe is the central and Parker plays on the wide at full-back position. And of the midfielders, at the moment, it looks like any one of the three of Norburn or Hatfield or Jake Lawler is allowed to get forward, as long as the other two stay back. It's been Norburn furthest forward so far, Gavin Rothery out and out on the left wing, and obviously James Hurst on the right.
Guys have managed to earn a throw down the right hand side. It's about level with the centre circle. Don't forget you can tweet us at Guiseley Radio today. We've had a couple of tweets so far, Andrew Wilson and Nick Quantrill, and one of the things that they've been tweeting about is the fact that Liam Dickinson is playing in goal for Bradford Park Avenue this afternoon, because on loan from us.
Is he really?
Yeah.
That was our backup option, wasn't it, when Stephen Drench was ill and Dan Atkinson was in the team. He was Liam Dickinson was supposedly our substitute keeper, so good to know he's had a chance to don the gloves. I think Andrew Wilson sat about 6 feet from us actually today. I hadn't noticed, but I think he is.
The throw's not really amounted to much. Guys, he forced back into their own half. Parker ships the ball forward, looking to get Hurst into a run off the back line, but Cheltenham hold firm. And the ball's at the feet of McLennan, and McLennan plays it forward, blocked by Jake Lawler, and then shipped forward again down the left flank, but this time Jake Lawler steps across, intervenes. Rob Atkinson clears. I think we'll be looking away to our right a fair part of this first half as Cheltenham press to our right hand side Guiseley's goal, but the ball in that occasion is a little bit slack and rolls through to Stephen Drench.
Yeah, Guiseley very compact. Everyone but Sinclair behind the ball most of the time, struggling to get any possession in the Cheltenham half towards the Railway end so far.
High in the air now, and Gavin Rothery goes looking for it. He doesn't get it in that occasion. Goes back to Jake Lawler. The Lions enjoying a little spell here with the ball. Rob Atkinson's in his own half. He's been pressed ever so hard by Dan Holman. He has to go long in the end. Hurst picks the ball up, but he's under tremendous pressure. He's robbed by Storer, and it goes up to the halfway line. Well won back, though, by Jake Lawler. Guiseley thread the ball down the right-hand side, but nobody's quite on the same wavelength as Jake Lawler. And the ball all the way through to a throw for Cheltenham in left-back position.
Sorry, Colin. And there were opportunities there, actually. Danny Lowe and Norburn both in space on the Guiseley left. The Guiseley looking for the nearest pass and being quite conservative with the passes they're attempting so far. Cheltenham get a throw in on the halfway line, so they're pushing lots of players forward and pushing Guiseley back to line up on the edge of their, sorry, it's a free kick, Guiseley lining up on the edge of their own area.
Yeah, this one's going to go long. There's 4 purple shirts on the edge of the D. It's Holman as well, just behind them as well, as they actually take it short, and then there's a challenge that comes in from Hurst to Rob Cheltenham, and then Sinclair knocks it down, and Norburn stretches forward now, plays the ball to the left-hand side. Rothery counter-attack on here for Guiseley now. Rothery can't really find anyone in the box. Goes left to Lowe. Lowe crosses up towards the back post. Hurst can't stretch to get that, but he will recover the ball for Guiseley midway through the Cheltenham half, and then it's chipped forward by Toulson. And then here to Hurst. Hurst gets a shot away, takes a deflection, and it's held by the goalkeeper and prevented to go out for a corner kick, but good move there from Guiseley. Hurst was very alive to the danger from the early free kick, and then Guiseley just unable to get the rub of the green with the deflection off the defender after Hurst got his shot away. The ball all the way back now with Stephen Drench.
Yeah, really smart passage of play that by Guiseley. Norburn, not somebody you see running with the ball often, but he had good vision, picked out a player to his left, and then in turn it went to the overlapping Danny Lowe. Cross came in. And after that came away another opportunity for Hurst to shoot from distance. It was a really good scrambling actually by the goalkeeper Flat, who had been sent chasing the ball by the deflection from his own defender, managed to hold on to it and avoid a corner.
Danny Lowe on the ball now, plays the ball up towards Emile Sinclair, who's got an awful lot to do and he can't do it on that occasion. It's rolled out here to Rob Dickey, the right back. Plays the ball up towards the edge of the 18-yard box. It bounces down from Holman's head in towards a danger zone. But Guiseley managed to clear only as far as the halfway line, and Dickey will take the throw. Looks ahead of him again and looks to move the ball quickly into that final third. Pell now nods on into the box. Danny Lowe just trying to shepherd the ball out under tremendous pressure. He does so in the end and gets the better of Jack Barthram on that occasion. Goal kick to the Lions.
And they've got some strong, tall, athletic players by the looks of it, as you would expect from the full-time team. Harry Pell is very tall for a midfielder.
6'4".
Yeah, he's just watching him walking along with Jake Lawler now. Very similar-looking players actually in stature, those two. And Amari Morgan-Smith looks like he's going to be a handful to deal with, trotting in between Guiseley's 2 centre-backs to try and find space. Of course, a very new centre-back pairing for the Lions today.
Long one down the left-hand side. Emile Sinclair has just pulled up, feeling his hamstring. And I thought he might be feeling his hamstring. He's gone to ground at the moment. Guiseley, meanwhile, have to defend because coming the other way are Cheltenham, and indeed it is Sinclair's hamstring, and he's gone to ground. I think that's his afternoon's over. Munn's on the ball now for the visitors on the halfway line. Lions have to set themselves with 10 to defend. Ben Parker tries to tackle Holman, but Holman rides the challenge well and then plays the ball into Toulson, and Toulson plays it out so that Sinclair can either get treatment, but more likely I suspect there'll be a very early change here. Plenty of options on the bench to replace Emile Sinclair in boys Tom Craddock and Dudley and Johnson, Ollie Johnson, but not a good sign that is at all.
Well, there's only one option really at this stage of the game, and it would have to be Adam Boyes, because neither Tom Craddock nor Ollie Johnson is going to come on and play a lone striker for 80 minutes by themselves, more than 80 minutes by themselves. Very unfortunate for Emile if that's the end of his afternoon. He stayed on his feet for a long time trying to stretch it, and gradually sort of folded down to the ground and looked like he was resigned to the fact that this was going to be a problem. So unfortunate after his loan was just extended until the end of the season this week. If he's out with a hamstring problem for a few weeks, that could render that signing near meaningless.
You know, I'm watching it here. I think you're right, probably is Boyes, but Ollie Johnson was also looking like he was getting kitted up there for a moment. But Emile Sinclair is really trundling off. He's definitely going to have to make the change. You do wonder actually whether it might be the end of his season with us, because hamstring can be a real problem, can't it? Depending on the severity.
And we've only got 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Until the end of the season. Yeah. No. If that's as it looks, and he's not just felt a slight tweak and gone off as a precautionary measure. If he's actually got a slight tear, then that could be the last we see of Emile this season. But yeah, I would like to see Ollie Johnson come on, Colin, but I just think realistically, Sinclair's been very isolated up there in the early going, asked to cover an awful lot of ground, and the player who's best suited to that and holding play up from our options, I would have thought would be Adam Boyes.
Tackle now, and Guiseley now having to defend as it's moved forward here with McLennan. McLennan plays the ball to the left-hand side, picked up by Morgan Smith. He's got two in the box if he can work his way through. And then it's square. And the boys now getting ready to enter the fray. Ball into Barthram now on the right-hand flank. As Guiseley are looking to, well, are having to rather, set themselves for the Cheltenham pressure. Still playing with 10 just at the moment because Boyes isn't yet been able to make the substitute. The ball will have to go out of play for that. Dickey now on the halfway line. Plays it to Munns. Munns chips the ball forward. Parker intercepts, and good anticipation from Norburn. Collects the ball back off Rothery. And then Norburn cutting in field. And plays the ball out to the right-hand side. Toulson looks ahead of him. There's only Hurst, but he manages to find him with an excellent ball. And then the ball sort of catches under the feet of Cameron Burgess, and he can't control it. And it's out for a corner to Guiseley, and there's a chance now for Adam Boyes to make his way onto the field of play.
Well, that was a best-case scenario from that passage of play, really. Guiseley with 10 men, we're all watching on anxiously, hoping when they lose the ball, they do so in a non-dangerous position and don't leave themselves having to defend from somewhere deep, and instead they've got quite a fortuitous corner.
Still 0-0 here, 12 minutes gone. Norburn to take the corner. Guiseley's first from the right-hand side. There's 5 white shirts in the box. I think Rothery's trying to get one short. It's played into the area. The Cheltenham defender didn't seem to be retreating the full 10. It's helped away anyway by the head of the defender, and Guiseley now win a free kick just out on the touchline on the far side, in front of the George Stock stand.
Well, there's a confusing bit of arranging in the area there just before the corner was taken. I think this is why Norburn insisted on taking it long. There was a sudden dart out from the goal line from a Cheltenham defender, and actually he was one of the men on the posts. They didn't have anybody on either post from that corner. I think that's possibly why Norburn fancied getting the ball in there as soon as he could.
Good position this for Guiseley again. The free kick whipped in over the heads of Jake Lawler, just bounces off the ankles of Rob Atkinson at a pace he probably couldn't have expected. Now the counter-attack is on for Cheltenham. Barthram comes away down the right-hand side, plays the ball in towards the edge of the 18-yard box. It's chipped up into the air and comfortably back into the hands of Drench. But 2 good moments there for Guiseley at one end, and then just the sign of the danger of the ball moving so swiftly into Guiseley's half on the counter-attack from Cheltenham there, resulting in Drench holding on to it.
Well, we know they're a very good team. We know they're swift and strong and well organised, and they will look dangerous every time they move forward, as they do now.
Pell on the ball on the right-hand side. Harry Pell, former Bristol Rovers man, one of the tallest players on the pitch, plays it back to Dickey, and Rob Dickey's ball is not so good and goes all the way through to Stephen Drench. A couple of goals actually to tell you about. Borehamwood 0, Southport 1. That's good news. And Welling 1, Kidderminster 0. That's not so sure that is great news. Welling still with a half chance really of dragging a few others into it. They're leading 1-0 at Kidderminster. And meanwhile the ball up in the air and headed away by Cameron Burgess. As guys are just making a little headway down the right flank. Cheltenham send it long and all the way back to Stephen Drench.
Is it Welling whose running consists entirely of relegation 6-pointers?
Yeah,
Is it them who are basically only playing teams down there for the rest of the season?
I think so.
But Boreham would have got a bit of that as well, I think.
Yeah, and Boreham would have played a game more and are losing, so that's good news. Altrincham we also need to hear a trailing as well this afternoon. As it stands, though, Guiseley are 0-0, and we've had about a quarter of an hour gone, and we've not really had a clear-cut scoring chance for either side as yet. But, the fans over there berating Cheltenham, who've got a throw in left-back position. Guiseley win the ball back well, actually, on the halfway line. Jake Lawler in the thick of it. Norburn, Rothery now feeds the ball back and then sends it up towards Adam Boyes. He's dispossessed, and then Dickey gets the ball up to Pell. Pell chips it forward, but he reclaims the second ball brilliantly from Morgan Smith, then plays the ball infield. Lawler gets one challenge in, but doesn't get a second. Holman now on the edge of the 18-yard box, on the angle of the penalty area, cutting in, gets a shot away with his left foot, but just can't direct it towards the goal. He kills just wide, a fraction wide of the upright, but it was a great move from Dan Holman, cut in from the right angle of the penalty area, and his shot on the left almost foxing Guiseley, and Steve Drench was very happy to see that one go past and behind for a goal kick.
The first real display of Cheltenham's class so far in this game. Every point in that move, they were just a little bit ahead of every Guiseley player. Just a little bit quicker, a little bit stronger, a little bit more quality. And we don't want to see too many more of those, really.
Well, if we do go down, there'll probably not be a trip to Solihull Moors. They're 2-0 up now at Telford and way ahead in the National North. There probably will be to FC United, who are leading at Corby as well. Guiseley now on the ball. No thoughts of going down at the moment. Ben Parker inside the centre circle. Plays the ball out here to Danny Lowe. Guiseley setting themselves up to craft an attack with Norburn. Inside his own half, looking to find some passing move that makes Guiseley flow better. And Will Hatfield spins on the ball really well and then tries to thread it towards Adam Boyes. But he's watched well by the Cheltenham back line, and Guiseley now concede possession with Storer, the captain, just playing it into the feet of Rob Dickey. He chips it. Another poor ball forward, actually. His distribution this afternoon so far hasn't been so good. Long may that continue.
Yeah, that's fine. No, I think Guiseley's...
Oh, there's a header that was potentially short from Cameron Burgess as a long ball went up towards Adam Boyes, but in the end it's comfortably for the goalkeeper Jonathan Flatt to claim. It just had a heart and mouth moment there for us, didn't it? It was hope that maybe it will go wrong. But now we're Cheltenham on the ball here with Dickey finding Storer into Munns, and they've got people forward, bodies in the box, and it finds Pell, and he nods it down to Holman. Holman takes a shot with the right foot, but he doesn't hit it with any venom, and it's wide again.
Yeah, and another good example, and Guiseley aren't defending badly at all. You know, in that previous move a few moments ago, Danny Lowe got pulled out of position, a midfielder dropped in to take his place. When Ben Parker came out wide, Danny Lowe dropped into the centre, all in that same move, all following really well, but just not quite quickly enough to avert the danger. And it was the same in that move. Danny Lowe was just out-muscled a little bit, and the layoff to Holman gave him a...
Oh, now Rob Atkinson hasn't anticipated the ball well, and it's fallen through to Holman, but Holman's pass in the end to Morgan Smith isn't good enough, and it's picked up here by Norburn, who's having a good start to this match, and he plays the ball into Lawler, and Guiseley now come away on the counter-attack here with Jake Lawler. Lawler down the right finds Hurst. Hurst back to Lawler. He's going to be closed down by Holman himself. He chips it forward down that right flank, and this time it's allowed to go out by Burgess for a goal kick.
Yeah, you're right. Norburn's had a really good start to the game. He's very comfortable with the ball at his feet, and backs himself to beat the man who's on rushing to him with a bit of trickery or something on the spot, a feint, or just giving them the eyes and then going the other way. And it buys guys an extra second or so in every move, and that's been really helpful in midfield so far. The challenge is linking up with the lone striker, and that's proving to be quite tricky.
Dickey now on the ball again for Cheltenham on this right-hand side. Steps forward. Claims there was a bad challenge from Norburn. Couldn't quite see that myself. Now it's forward here with Munns on the edge of the 18-yard box. Guiseley got bodies behind this goal, and eventually it comes in, and Norburn stretches out a leg and punts the ball over the crossbar for Cheltenham's corner. Is that the first corner of the afternoon?
No, we've had one.
Their first corner.
Oh, yeah, it's theirs, yeah.
So it'll be on this near side with Munns to take.
Wow, we slander the giants in there, isn't it? Look, there's 3 6-foot-plus players gathering on the edge of the area, getting ready to run in here, and guys, you've got to be very alert.
Ball to come in from this right-hand side. It's floated in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed over and behind, and I think it was Parslow who came up to thump that header high and wide from the back line. Guys, he will be quite happy if that's the quality of finishing, but it was a good delivery from the right-hand side.
And he was one of those players rushing in. It was quite a strange corner to watch, actually. There was a handful of players in the 6-yard box, and then everyone else was grouped on the in the Guiseley right-back area on the edge of Drench's penalty box. And they, 4 of them in the end, rushed all at once towards the inward curling ball. And as you say, it was Parslow got his head to it. Not a good finish, but quite hard to stop a stampede like that.
Jake Lawler goes for a challenge with Amari Morgan-Smith, who goes down. Referee just says, get up. Guiseley have the ball in the halfway line with Norburn. Sprays the ball out to the right-hand side. Tilson's closed down very quickly by Holman, so he has to opt to go all the way back to Stephen Drench. And then Drench lofts it high up towards Boys. Doesn't win the aerial battle though with Burgess. He does on the second occasion, but his flick on is tidied up by Parslow. Cleared by Atkinson as the game stretches and gets a little scrappy. Rothery gets the foot on the ball, gives it to Hatfield, but Hatfield's closed down really well by Harry Pell. And now it's a counter-attack here for Cheltenham. The ball up here to Holman. Holman sends it out to the left-hand side for McClellan to chase. Tackled by Toulson, but it'll be a throw for Cheltenham, just up from the corner flag on the left-hand side as they attack the Guiseley goal.
Yeah, really important challenge that by Toulson. Last-ditch defending. And those guys are just struggling to get out from the back at the moment.
Holman now on the angle of the penalty area on the left-hand side takes a cross that's blocked by Jake Lawler. It goes behind for a corner, and another corner to the visitors, this time on the left-hand side.
Very similar sort of pattern looks like it's developing here. All those big players going to the far corner, edge of the area, all ready to rush in on as one.
Ball's whipped in towards the penalty spot, and it's claimed by Stephen Drench. Again, very comfortable claim. And Guiseley can prepare to launch this one forward again. Drench up towards Will Hatfield, who's chasing after the ball, but there's a flag up. Curious flag, actually, on my part from the right-hand side. But, nonetheless, it means it's a free kick to Cheltenham.
The linesman obviously believed it. That makes one of us.
Referee today is Ollie Yates, by the way. A man we know well. Norburn on the ball. Plays it into Hatfield. Hatfield keeps it ticking over into low. But guys, he's still in their own half and being closed down, so Hatfield has to be on his mettle to return the ball to Parker as he's challenged by Holman. Seems to have oceans of energy, doesn't he? Bags of energy. And Stephen Drench eventually sends it up long. Looking for Boys, headed away. Jake Lawler wins the second header, up in the air now. Gavin Rothery tries to win it against the height of Rob Dickey. It was only ever going to be Dickey to win that one in that position. But Lowe wins the ball back on the halfway line, sends it long. Boys battling hard for it, trying to cause Dickey all sorts of problems. Boys does get a foot on the ball, but the full-back does enough to prevent Boys getting onto his feet, and in the end it's out for a throw. But that was a good effort there from Adam Boys.
Well, that's exactly why Mark chose him to come on when Sinclair was injured, because nobody is going to work harder and go in for more challenges when playing that very isolated lone striker role than Adam Boys.
Oh, free kick's been given to Amari Morgan-Smith. I'm not quite sure how, to be honest. They both go colliding for the ball, Rob Atkinson and Morgan-Smith, but the Cheltenham man went down, and it's a free kick. It's in a fairly dangerous position, this, on the right-hand side, 10 yards up from the edge of the angle of the penalty area on the right flank.
Yeah, it's essentially almost like taking a corner, this. It's the same distance from the danger zone, same angle of delivery, although coming from out ahead of the box rather than the goal line. This is going to be very difficult.
Munns will take. He steps over it. Guiseley have got a line on the edge of the 18-yard box. Munns swings this one in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Header comes away from Atkinson. The ball's picked up again by Kyle Storer, and it's returned to him on this left-hand side. He's got a chance to cross, but Norburn shadows him all the way back. Storer finding it hard to get away from him. Then Norburn goes to ground, and the referee agrees with the decision of Norburn to go to ground and gives a free kick.
I think I might actually, now that the striker's changed from corners, actually switch who stays up for Guiseley. I might bring Adam Boys back into the area as a relatively tall Guiseley player and leave maybe Gavin Rothery further forward for coming out on the break. But a very minor point, but there is a serious height advantage for Cheltenham over Guiseley.
There is, you can see it actually just as we watch along the halfway line as they're setting themselves ready for this free kick to eventually be taken. You're absolutely right. Several positions. There's a good few inches between the two sets of players. Drench eventually takes the free kick, which is just by the corner flag. A free kick's given against Hurst. Not quite sure why. McLennan.
And it's difficult this because it means in a game where guys they are going to have a lot of speculative long balls into channels just to try and relieve pressure. It's very hard to make it stick when pretty much every player is matched up against someone taller than them.
Ball sent long from that free kick into the box. The referee's whistle is heard once again, this time an offside decision. And
it's a good job they don't stop the clock every time.
We'll be here till about 10 o'clock at night, wouldn't we, at this rate? It's a bit stop-start, isn't it?
The referees always get the blame for that, don't they? But I guess if the fouls are happening, then they have to blow.
Free kick to the Lions, just on the edge of the 18-yard box. Still 0-0, 26 minutes gone. Best chance probably Dan Holman's effort that just went wide after he cut in field, but goalkeepers at either end haven't really had to make a save as yet. Norburn winning the ball back after a good run from Holman. Good effort from the Lions. Hurst now down the right hand side finds Toulson, who's ready to come forward. He crosses into the box. There's only boys to aim for and there's 4 defenders around him, so the chance of getting the shot away was limited. It's cleared up to the halfway line now, and Atkinson gets across Holman to shepherd the ball out. Next up for the Lions is Wrexham midweek, but on Saturday we travel to Macclesfield. Macclesfield are now beating Barrow by 1-0. Not really too relevant to our situation, but rather hope that Macclesfield might fall out of form.
It would be handy. It would certainly be handy.
Ball goes forward, and Boyce is chasing it all the way back to the goalkeeper. Gets back there and forces the keeper to make a bit of a hurried clearance. It eventually comes away though to Storer, and again Cheltenham have managed to repel any forward motion from Guiseley and find Amari Morgan-Smith, who plays it across field here to Pell. Pell some distance from goal, might take a shot, actually goes to the right to find Barthram, who gets the ball into the area. Jake Lawler steps across, gets a good foot through it, and the ball all the way back up here towards the halfway line. Dickey now square to Munns. Munns 30 yards from goal. He's got a few options ahead of him, chips the ball into the box, but Holman appreciates the idea but wasn't on the end of it, and it goes through to Drench.
Yeah, and all of that started with a horrible left-footed shank from Jonathan Flatt, and actually Cheltenham got 2 really good opportunities from the move.
On the halfway line now, Amari Morgan-Smith wins the ball for the visitors. He plays the ball out to the left-hand side, and it's a tackle from Hatfield inside the Lions half that wins the possession back for Guiseley. Danny Lowe in left-back position now, plays it forward. It's not the best ball. Actually, it is. It's a decent one because it finds Hurst. He tries to lay it in towards Norburn, but Munns is alert to the possibility of winning the ball back, and now on the halfway line, Jack Munns cuts infield. Keeps running, but no challenge comes in on him. He goes to the left-hand side where McLennan plays it up towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Atkinson clears for Guiseley, and now the Lions come away with the ball with Norburn showing a bit of skill to find a way through to Hatfield on the halfway line. Hatfield plays it to the left. Danny Lowe now, who's forward, goes back to Will Hatfield on the halfway line, and it goes back to Ben Parker all the way back to Drench. A few groans around the ground, but the work rate of Cheltenham is exceptional actually, and you don't get any time on the ball. Keeping hold of the possession is a pretty decent result, I think.
Yeah, it drives me crazy that we're actually acquitting ourselves quite well against a team who are clearly superior all over the pitch. And if rather than sending it aimlessly down into a channel for Adam Boyce to chase onto, we can hold the ball and make them work and make them try and have to force their way out from the back, then that's all right, I think.
I certainly think so. It's been a good performance so far from the Lions, half an hour in.
And it's hard because how are you going to play in a game like this? Where you are outpaced and out-muscled. Well, you're going to look for long balls and knockdowns, are you? Well, we're not going to win any of those.
Danny Lowe's now on the ball for Guiseley. Plays the ball into the box. Boys, it's there. He just unable to get above the ball. He flicks the ball out for a goal kick, but it was a decent position. A good delivery from Danny Lowe. Gets the thumbs up from Adam Boys. Cheltenham goal kick.
Yeah, it was a great spot by Danny Lowe and a great bit of movement by Boys to lose his marker, get himself a bit of space in the box. It was just maybe 3 or 4 inches too high for him physically to reach it with his forehead. But yeah, so you think, well, how does a team get a goal in a game like this? Is it from a fortuitous long ball? Is it from a set piece? I don't see us winning many headers in any of those situations. It's going to be from passing play. It's going to have to be.
Well, Hatfield, meanwhile, has just been won a free kick. Harry Pell felt he won the ball, but the referee said there was a free kick. In fact, Oliver Norburn was a little frustrated because he had the run of the ball after the whistle had gone. But it's a chance here for Guiseley to use this set piece to get Jake Lawler, Rob Atkinson, Hurst's in the area as well as Boys. It's a few yards from the centre circle, so Danny Lowe now makes a run down the left-hand side, but Morgan Smith stands over the ball. It's the ire of the home fans, and it's flicked in, and it'll be a corner kick for Guiseley. It was a good defensive header to take it away from Rob Atkinson at the back post, and it's now Guiseley with a corner from the right-hand side.
Yeah, it was well worked free kick actually in the end. Norburn had to be patient, not get wound up by Morgan Smith, who was refusing to take the yards away.
Corner on this right flank. Can we make the breakthrough? Tremendous. Norburn will take 5 or 6 to aim for in the box. It goes up towards Rob Atkinson, headed away from him. I think it might have been Harry Pell who got the header, but it's out for a throw now on the left-hand side. So Danny Lowe will come up to take this one. He can just keep the pressure on. Can the Lions make the breakthrough? Still 0-0 here.
Yeah, I've not seen this too many times, have we? Only Stephen Drench in the Guiseley half at the moment.
Throw goes short towards Hurst. Hurst controls, sends it back to Lowe. Lowe's closed down, but still gets his cross in. It takes a deflection, takes the sting out of it, so it's cleared. Parker sends the ball back into the box, into a good position. Norburn picks up the second phase on the edge of the area, but then his ball in towards Hatfield doesn't work out well. And then there's a collision between Norburn and I think Burgess. Norburn goes down, I think, clutching his face. I'm not quite sure whether that was just an accidental collision or he's just trying to tell the referee had a bit of a clash.
Well, Martin Stringfellow's been called on to have a look at him.
I think he just took a knock in the effort of the both players to win the ball, to be fair.
Yeah, and it was probably the right decision to give a Cheltenham free kick there on the edge there. Norburn's having to leave the pitch, but prior to getting treatment, does he need a new shirt? Has he got maybe a blood injury?
Yeah, it might well be actually. They're looking for shirts on the side of the pitch by the looks of it. Maybe he's just taken a knock to the nose. He's taken his shirt off, so Norburn presumably will have to replace that shirt. There's been a couple of goals as well in the National North, which we'll talk about in a minute, because Cheltenham are on the attack now. They got the ball into the box. Guys are down to 10 once again. It's not as bad as it sounds. Norburn's just having to change his shirt at the moment, but Emile Sinclair earlier on in the game was off for a while. Liam Dickinson has let one in against Boston, so it's Boston United 1, Bradford Park Avenue 0. Alfreton 0, Harrogate Town 1 as well. Mixed fortunes for our local rivals.
It's rare that I wish I was at the Horsefall.
Oh, the ball's gone over here. Adam Boyce has a chance just to get through, but then there's a block that comes in from Rob Dickey. Big shout from Adam Boyce that there was something wrong with that, but just for a second it looked like Adam Boyce was just about to be played through from Will Hatfield from really nothing of a position on the park. Storer now on the ball for Cheltenham. Storer now looking to look for options to get the ball into the box, and he actually ends up going square to Pell. Pell now has got Holman. Holman some distance from goal, spins on what, gets a shot with it right, tipped over by Stephen Drench. It was straight at him, but it had such dipping power that Drench had to be at full stretch to get a hard enough hand on it to put the ball over the crossbar and behind for a Cheltenham corner.
Now, make no mistake, that happened purely and simply because Guiseley are missing a player still at the moment. I saw Rob Atkinson look at the player in front of him, realise Norburn wasn't there. He thought about coming towards the ball to chase it. He saw another man coming in. He ushered Gavin Rothery across, but Rothery couldn't get there in time to stop the shot. And good exploiting of the gaps by Cheltenham.
Norburn is on now. Takes his position in this corner. It's headed away by Hurst and goes out only as far as Storer. Storer concedes possession and Guiseley get a throw. Rothery will take, and Norburn, who's got a very clear piece of tissue stuck up his nose, holds his hands out and say, give it to me, but they opt to wait to give it to Ryan Tulson in right back.
Yeah, no, it's not often in my life I've ever thought, I'd really like to be at the Horsfall Stadium right now, but something tells me that'll be quite a game to watch today with Dicko in goal. I hope he acquits himself well.
Now Guiseley win the ball back. Oliver Norburn doing well to challenge, and then Danny Lowe sending the ball forward in decent position there. Adam Boyes not letting up the chase. Goalkeeper though, Jonathan Flatt, able to collect comfortably in the end. Storer now inside the centre circle. Plays the ball to the right. Munns. Touch brings it infield. And exchanges passes with Storer. Hatfield tigerishly challenging around that centre circle, trying to win the ball back for the Lions. And then Storer again finds Holman. Holman tries to thread it through to Morgan Smith. And then just as Guiseley have a chance to counter-attack, the referee blows the whistle because there was a offside flag in that move. Norburn again not impressed with the decision and lets the referee know in certain terms.
A couple of points of note. Norburn now is wearing the number 90 shirt, which is a rare outing for the 90. And at the moment we've just seen a switch of flanks. James Hurst's out here in front of us on the left. Gavin Rothery over on the right as Norburn's in there tidying up in midfield really well.
Stephen Drench just clears. It's headed away well by Parslow as Boys were looking for it. Another goal actually. Southport 0. Boreham Wood 0, Southport 2 now. So Boreham Wood losing 2-0 at home to Southport. At the moment Guiseley battling hard to try and win the ball back in the centre of the field as Cheltenham knock the ball about comfortably. And with Storer into the feet of Holman. He chipped out to the right hand side towards Barthram, and now there's a free kick that's been given against Barthram. I say ball. I called it as Holman. It's actually Munns, of course.
Interesting player, Munns. He's the exception to the height rule in this Cheltenham team, and he's happy to cover some ground. I've seen him in all parts of the pitch and quite often traversing from right to left or back again with the ball in possession. Very hard to keep an eye on where he is. As you probably have just heard, Cheltenham's visiting fans trying to make a bit of noise. It's been quite a subdued atmosphere actually so far this afternoon.
Up to the halfway line. Morgan Smith cuts a crossfield, but Will Hatfield does really well to win the ball back for Guiseley, much to the appreciation of the home fans. And then the number 90 gets on the ball, and it's Norburn. He had the option to go right because Toulson was in advanced position. He went infield, and then there was a challenge in on him, and now Amari Morgan Smith comes away with the ball for Cheltenham, and then it goes back to Stephen Drench. Something of interest to our visitors is that Braintree apparently are 1-0 up against Forest Green. Lincoln City 1, Chester 0. That's also a good potential scoreline for us, isn't it, if Chester keep losing?
Yeah, that would be all right by us.
Header away from Dickey. Goes back to Lowe. Lowe plays it back down this left-hand side on the left flank. Hurst tries to control the ball, but he's under too much pressure to be able to do so. Pell wins it back for the visitors. Flicked forward. And good interception from Jake Lawler, who makes the right decisions in getting the ball back to Stephen Drench, who then sends it up long, up towards Boys. Boys doesn't win the header, but forces pressure that gives the ball back to Rothery. On the right-hand side is Toulson. Will Hatfield now tries to play the ball in. Brilliant one in here to Toulson. He's been flagged offside, but how on earth could he be?
No, he wasn't. He came from behind. That was a perfectly timed run. I thought they'd left it too late, actually. Toulson had been out there in space all of that time, and he's timed a brilliant run in behind the left back. The ball was played long before he overlapped the left back. That's a shocking decision.
Dear, oh dear. Well, I'll wait to be proven wrong, but there's a fair amount of pointing at various points in the pitch over that side to suggest there is a little bit of disagreement on that. Guiseley, meanwhile, get an offside decision to their favour.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear. Still 0-0.
And it's a big deal because Guiseley have set out with a tactic that they're so far executing really well today. They have kept moments of danger to a minimum. They're working really well in midfield to win back possession, to move the ball around between white-shirted players, and it's going to take a moment, an unexpected moment of brilliance or pace or something to unlock an opportunity for Guiseley, and that could have been one.
Will Hatfield winning the ball back in the centre of the field. The midfield have done so well actually to break up play for Cheltenham on a few occasions. Will Hatfield and Jake Lawler winning good challenges. This one's gone long now towards Hurst. He was unable to take the ball down on his outstretched right foot from a Toulson long ball forward. And now Cheltenham come away with it up to the halfway line. Dickey over the halfway line under pressure from Hurst and from Hatfield. He goes back to Storer. But Cheltenham setting themselves into attacking mentality once again. Storer into Munns. Munns goes back to Dickey. It's patient build-up, to say the least, from the visitors, and in the end, Dickey again just trying to pick out one of those passes that are trying to release Morgan Smith or Holman, and it goes too far beyond them and into the hands of Drench. His clearance goes up towards the head of Dickey immediately. Hurst goes battling for it. Dickey goes to ground, claiming the foul, but nothing's given. Barthram now for Cheltenham on the right flank, cuts in field, plays it square, picked up now by Storer. Munns now on the ball, two in front of him, so he goes square to Storer again. Good build-up play here from Cheltenham. Morgan Smith down the left-hand side. Atkinson forced to take a touch, does really well to defend it, but Toulson still got some work too. He gets it away, and it's only as far as Burgess, who can start the move again, and Holman now cuts infield onto the edge of the 6-yard box. Is there? It's a free for Morgan Smith, chance for him to score. He fumbles at the crucial time, and that allows Ben Parker in to get the ball away, and that was certainly Cheltenham's best chance of this afternoon, and really they should have scored and gone one goal up.
Now guys, who need to stay alert and finish the job here. Cheltenham's still in possession.
They have the ball down this left-hand side, but in the end Will Hatfield heads out of play for a Cheltenham throw, and it's picked up here by Pell and Storer. Munns in the centre circle now on the ball, trying to get past Norburn, and a good challenge comes in from Will Hatfield to rob the ball off Morgan Smith. It's played away up towards Adam Boys, but again it's going to be returned into the Guiseley half as Cheltenham set themselves in the Lions half before the half-time break, looking to make that breakthrough. Braintree 1, Forest Green 1 now in the other game. So an equaliser there for Forest Green. Still scoreless here, and then the ball's forward towards Morgan Smith from Munns. Morgan Smith was in acres of space inside the penalty area and completely offside. So it's a free kick to Guiseley.
It's almost like Cheltenham just found another gear there for a couple of minutes. Turned the intensity up all over the pitch on Guiseley a little bit. I think we've done well to keep the score at 0-0 at the moment, as Drench takes this free kick from the edge of his area.
It goes up towards Hurst. Hurst gets a head on it, and it goes up in the air. And now it's picked up by Toulson, who makes a surging run down that right-hand side, leaves it towards Rothery. Rothery's going to force McClellan rather, to hit touch with his clearance. Guys with a throw now on the right-hand side. Toulson has the ball midway through the Cheltenham half. A minute of normal time to go. Probably be a stoppage or two to add. Hurst plays a rather poor ball short of Norburn. Counter-attack now on for Cheltenham. Holman plays a lovely ball in towards the edge of the area. Barthram comes chasing it. Stephen Dredge out of his goal. Gets enough of a foot on it to get it away and out for a throw-in, which is taken down swiftly. Dickey now for Cheltenham. The right back's had plenty of the ball. He looks ahead of him. Sprays the ball out to the left-hand side. It's going to be a long stretch for McClellan to keep that in play, and he can't, and it's out for a Guiseley throw in right-back position.
He's had a shocking half of passing as Dickey. I've not seen him play before, but presume he's normally capable of finding his own teammates to be a part of this title chasing side. Well, that was another really awful pass.
So there'll be 2 more minutes, actually, of stoppage time to play. The board's up. So Guiseley have a couple of minutes here in which they can come forward now with Danny Lowe on the ball on the halfway line, rather. Square 2, Hatfield. Hatfield and Jake Lawler try too much intricate passing. They're caught out. Storer plays the ball out to Morgan Smith on the right flank. He cuts in. He's up against Ben Parker. Morgan Smith gets the cross, whips it against Ben Parker's arm, and it goes behind for a corner. It firmly and clearly hit Ben Parker on the arm, but his arm was low. Referee had no interest in any other decision like a penalty.
No, and to Cheltenham's credit, they didn't ask for it either.
Yeah.
It was obviously unavoidable and obviously not a handball, but heart and mouth moment nonetheless.
Corner from the right-hand side, floats in towards the back post, headed in towards the goal, cleared off the line with Amari Morgan-Smith just ready to pounce and put the ball into the net. The referee has given a goal kick. I think Morgan-Smith has been adjudged to have had the final touch on that ball. I must admit, it looked like it might have been a last-ditch clearance on that post, but it's been put behind for a goal kick. Anyway, that's the resulting decision. And Guiseley, well, again, they've managed somehow just to scramble the ball away and prevent Cheltenham getting the lead just before the break.
Yeah, I saw the same thing you did, Colin, but players' reactions are always a decent guide, and no one in a purple shirt was asking for a corner, so obviously a bit of an optical illusion for us here. Does that get us to half-time? That would be a really successful halves football if it does.
Ball's picked up now by Rothery. Oh, he almost dinked it out through to Boyce, who'd made a good run. But now Harry Pell comes away with the ball, surging through the centre circle, spins up away from Hatfield, has to go back to Munns. Back here to Storer, and inside the centre circle, Storer tries to find that fine ball through once again, and once again it rolls through to Stephen Drench. By me, that's half-time, and the referee too.
He was listening. He was waiting for your permission.
Good first 45 though for the Lions. Tough opponents, obviously very, very high quality opponents, and Guiseley have managed to nullify to the large part the threat that they offer. They had 2 good chances in the game that resulted in real scrambles away from the goal on the line, but other than that, been a good encouraging 45 minutes for the Lions. Half time here, and it's Guiseley 0, Cheltenham 0.
Yeah, a very close game of football. Lots of good football, passing football being played, but not an awful lot of it in either team's final third. And Cheltenham definitely had the better of the chances, as you would expect. Had bodies forward, moved more swiftly on the break, and in general gave Stephen Drench a lot more to think about than Jonathan Flatt had. But Guiseley have done well, restricting Cheltenham to a smallish number of chances, and in general have looked good in possession, have looked comfortable, compact and organised, and the question is, can they continue to do that in the second half, and can they use their trickery, use their intelligence and the odd bit of luck to make themselves 1 or 2 more opportunities going forward? Well, we'll have a think about that at half time while we go for a cup of tea, and we'll leave you in the safe hands of Chris Bell and first Dave Kendra.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you to Colin taking us through that first half. Well, hey, look, it's 0-0, which is more than I think we were expecting in lots of ways. And actually, I think the Lions have held their own quite well in that first 45. And I'm joined by Chris Bell. Chris.
Yeah, good half, really. We can't whinge too much to go in goalless at the break. If it stayed like this, we'd be more than happy, to be honest, to take a point from these sides. All in all, I think we can be relatively pleased. We've had a couple of half chances. We haven't had too many desperate situations defensively either. All in all, not too bad day for me. Not too bad at all.
No, quite satisfying. Although Cheltenham did have quite a clear-cut chance towards the end of that first half with a goalmouth scramble just cleared off the line. But I think it was Danny Lowe in the end that got the decisive touch. But yeah, and a couple of half chances. James Hurst's worked very hard. Shame to see Emil Sinclair go off with an injury early doors, but Adam Boyce has worked quite hard at closing down those defence. But it does rather look like Cheltenham have half their team is 8'9" and can run at 90 miles an hour. It's frustrating when we try and get forward.
Yeah, well, I mean, losing Emil Sinclair is a massive blow. I mean, we were sat further down, weren't we, in the opposite stand, and we saw him pull up with the hamstring, and as soon as it happened, you're like, potentially at this stage, it's his season over, sadly.
Potentially. He did look particularly distraught heading off the pitch. There's other results going on in the National League and games, obviously, that will be of particular interest to Lions fans. One of the standout scorelines at half-time here, Boreham Wood 0, Southport 2. So Southport just above us pulling away and landing Boreham Wood in trouble. Also, obviously, it's Guiseley 0, Cheltenham Hill, Halifax 0, Aldershot 0. Lincoln City lead 1-0 at home to managerless Chester, and it's Torquay 0, Tranmere 0. Another interesting scoreline is in the battle of the bottom two. Welling are beating Kidderminster by a goal to 0. So looking at the half-time standings in the table, I mean, it's nothing really changing in terms of the Lions. We're still 3 points away from the relegation zone if things stay as they are. But those scorelines of that Boreham Wood scoreline would do us a favour, wouldn't it, Chris?
That Boreham Wood scoreline, if Southport can hold on the way they are at the moment, 2-0 up, it would be a massive favour to us. It has to be said, though, Boreham Wood, they've had a knack of coming from 2 goals down or coming back from behind. They did it against Chester in the 2-2 draw last weekend. And, of course, on Tuesday night, they almost pulled off a comeback, only to lose with the final kick in the 93rd minute away at Halifax. But having been 2-0 down, they pulled it out to 2-2. So, we can't take that for granted that it's a game-set match, sadly, down at Boreham Wood.
Yeah, I mean, if there is solace to be taken in some of these scores, is that the bottom 4 now have all played either the same amount of games or 1 game more than the Lions now. I mean, obviously that'll level itself up after Tuesday at Wrexham, but Tuesday at home to Wrexham, I should say. But so to have that 3-point gap without the game in hand is a good thing if the Lions can hang on. But it is a big if. Cheltenham are a big, strong side, aren't they?
And they are very, very dangerous. Yeah, absolutely. We said before we got underway that it was going to be a big ask of the Lions to get anything out of this game. As it is, they're doing well. They've got a clear game plan. And so far, it's working. As I say, we haven't been drilled too much. There was a decent effort from Dan Holman about 15-20 minutes in. And then that late scramble as well. But beyond that, not much to trouble. However, you've got to think that Gary Johnson is going to be putting a rocket up the Cheltenham players, because with Braintree currently holding Forest Green, a win for Cheltenham will put them in a really, really good position with 3 games to go.
Now, one of the more curious stories of the afternoon's football is developing
This
not
is
here,
brilliant.
but in Boston, where I don't know if you remember a former player by the name of Liam Dickinson. Well, he recently went out on loan to Bradford Park Avenue. He was our striker. He's still on the books here as our top scorer of the season.
As a striker?
As a striker. He's playing for Bradford Park Avenue this afternoon in goal.
Yeah.
He's playing in goal. Bradford Park Avenue apparently have lost both of their 2.
They have 3.
All
John Stewart is out injured, and they've got Matty Wright and another lad whose name eludes me, who are both unavailable, whatever that means.
Wow.
So Liam Dickinson has started in goal. Of course, though, it has to be said that for the long periods this season where Liam Dickinson was with us in the squad, on the bench, whatever, we didn't have a sub-keeper. Mark had always said that Liam Dickinson was the sub-keeper, effectively, as well as being an outfielder, obviously. He was always going to be the man that would come on to go in goal. I don't think Liam Dickinson, though, would have ever anticipated this situation where he starts a game and plays 90 minutes in goal.
Well, you assume he's playing 90 minutes. He's played 45 so far, but it's currently, unfortunately for him, he has conceded a goal.
Only the one.
It is Boston 1, Bradford Park Avenue 0 at half-time there, but apparently made a magnificent save from Pierre Giannini in the 31st minute, and has collected a few crosses calmly. The Bradford Park Avenue Twitter feed obviously mainly focusing on the antics of Liam Dickinson in their goal this afternoon.
Well, we usually focus on the antics of Liam Dickinson, just he was outfield for us at the time.
Yeah, we getting up to all sorts in there today. Let's have a little look at the other scorelines in the National North, just for funsies. Alfreton 1, Harrogate 1, Boston 1, Bradford Park Avenue 0. Chorley could have been us. They're 2-0 up against Gainsborough. Corby 1, FC United of Manchester 1, Fylde 1, North Ferriby 2, Gloucester 0, Brackley 0, Hensford 0, Tamworth 0, Lowestoft 0, Curzon Ashton 0, Stalybridge 0, Nuneaton 2, and in Solihull's bid to clinch the title, well, it's going ever so well. Telford 0, Solihull Moors 3 at half-time there, and it's Worcester 2, Stockport 1. Those scorelines, I think, would see Solihull up, and perhaps even up as champions if they stay as they are. There's other football going on today. But we'll get back to events here. Chris, so 0-0 at half-time at home in a game you need to get points out of against the league leaders. What the hell does Mark Bauer do now?
He sets them up and tells them to go about and play like they have in the first half, to be honest. There's been a couple of occasions from set pieces where you've got to pick up Cheltenham players better. That has been the one major concern for me from Cheltenham's attacking situation, is that in open play, they've been a bit here and there in this game. However, set pieces, it's been a big issue for us all season of not picking up men and just allowing players to get free headers. And there's been a couple of occasions in this game where that's been the case, and thankfully they haven't gone in or troubled. However, you just feel that it's a matter of time. You know, Cheltenham aren't going to mess up every single corner they get this afternoon.
Well, I think that's part of the reason. You're quite right. I wonder if that's not part of the reason why Ben Parker's playing a centre back today.
Yeah.
Rather Danny Lowe at left back rather than the other way around.
I think it's
Parker's just got that bit more
but
of a physical
sensible
presence.
move, because I'd say Parker is that bit taller, that bit better in the air. Generally, you've also got the fact though that Danny Lowe on the left hand side has got the pace, and for me delivers a better cross as well than Ben Parker.
Well, we do have a vote going on in the ground today for Player of the Season. They've been handed out slips with all the programmes today. So, Chris, just out of interest, just to Cheltenham take to the pitch, who do you think the Lions' Player of the Season has been?
Ooh, well, we were talking actually, weren't we, earlier in the early stage of the first half about the signings that we've made and who's impressing out the signings we've made. Will Hatfield's got to be up there for his consistency over the season. Stephen Drench, you could arguably say, is a contender as well. Had he not have had that 8-game spell where he wasn't, because up until that point, of course, he'd made the most saves in the league, according to the non-league paper.
Well, you can prove anything with statistics, Chris.
We try doing that, Dave, regularly.
We do. It doesn't change anything on that pitch.
So for me, going back to, I'm not saying this is where my vote is going, because it could probably change, but Will Hatfield for me is probably a likely contender, or Rob Atkinson, who's
Rob
just come to mind.
Would be a good shout, actually. He's been a solid defender, pretty much in ever-present, and of course now one of our top scorers, 5 goals this season as well. But it's good to have that defender who comes up for your set pieces and what, and snatches you.
We could use him
goals.
in the to do that today, couldn't we? Because that Cheltenham back line, as they come back out, very, very physical.
It's clear that Cheltenham have been sent out a little bit early here just to
await
the Lions. Yeah, maybe a little bit of a flea in the ear. They've had a couple of good opportunities that haven't managed to convert into an actual goal as yet. And maybe Gary Johnson's just thinking, that they're feeling they should be away and clear in this game so far. But I think the Lions have defended pretty strongly and actually deserve to go in at 0-0 at half time. There's plenty of this game still to play as we await the arrival of the Guiseley teams onto the pitch for this second half.
It's certainly going to be an interesting.
I quite like this tactic, though. If Cheltenham are going to come out a little bit early, Guiseley, why not? Make them wait.
Wait till the last second.
Make them wait.
But it's all mind games, isn't it? All mind games.
Talking of waiting to the last second, this gets to 20 minutes. Just maybe.
I know where this is going already.
20 minutes left. 0-0. League leaders. Ollie Johnson. That's 20 minutes.
That 20 minutes.
Unplayable. It's written in the stars, Chris, isn't it?
I'm going to agree with you, just to make you feel happy.
Yay!
Yeah, no, it's not impossible. I was a little bit
You live in hope. That is quite an attacking looking bench again. I mean, obviously we've had to use Boys to replace Emil Sinclair. That is a shame. We hope that's not his season over, but it did look pretty bad.
Yeah,
and the other 3 subs, aside from the sub keeper Daniel Atkinson, is Tom Craddock, Ollie Johnson and Anthony Dudley. So it's clear to me that's the plan that Mark wants, to get to 20 minutes left and then just throw at it, because why not? Because as the league leaders, if you lose. Well, hey, it's the league leaders, you were always going to lose. But if you win, whoa, 3 points this end of the season.
We're yet to get that scalp. We are yet to get that scalp, and I spoke to Mark before the Chester game as well, and he said regardless of the result in that game, we were going to get. He was confident we were going to get a win against either Eastleigh, Cheltenham, or Wrexham. Now, if we do it today, that will put us on the map, and we will ruin so many accumulators. It is untrue. There will be a torrent of abuse if we win this game from people on Twitter.
Anything other than a thumping Cheltenham victory today will almost certainly ruin several accumulator bets this afternoon. We hope. Frank, I'm sorry if you've got an accumulator bet on Cheltenham this afternoon, but I hope you don't win, because it will mean Guiseley have got themselves some valuable points out of this game. I can tell you now, Cheltenham are still...
They're almost looking bored now.
Yeah.
This is the tactic. We'll just bore them to death.
Seriously, though, on a serious note, Chris, though, is this not a little bit dangerous? Are they not warming down as they're just standing there in the centre circle?
Hopefully.
The Lions come out. They've been in that changing room. They're G'd up. They're ready to go. They're ready to attack Cheltenham. And Cheltenham have been stood out here for 10 minutes because they've had what I can only assume is a rollicking.
And a fairly short one at that.
A fairly short, This is very odd.
I don't think Gary Johnson's going to be overly pleased. I mean, he's back out in his dugout just watching them, basically. I don't think he's going to be overly pleased with them. The fact that a lot of them, there's 4 that are just kicking the ball between them, and the rest are kind of ambling around the...
They don't look up for this, Chris. They don't look up for it.
We hope they aren't.
That's it. Blind faith in the face of contrary evidence. That will see us through, Chris.
The referee's in the tunnel now with the ball. He's not come back out yet. Probably asking Mark Bauer where they are. There we go.
Here come the Lions. Chris, thank you for your insight this afternoon. I'll hand you back for full commentary on this second half. It's Guiseley 0, Cheltenham 0, and we will join our commentary team of Colin Robertson. But first, Nik Keefe.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Chris. Good stuff at half-time. Really strange half-time, actually, as we get back into our seats here, up in the very cramped main seated stand here at Nethermoor today. Cheltenham have been out, and Cheltenham's team have been back out on the pitch for well over 5 minutes already. They are fucking just been standing around, some of them waiting for the half to start. They were sent out after only less than 10 minutes, I think, of half-time. The Lions out now. Final instructions being passed around the Guiseley defence as the referee strides out to the middle. Cheltenham are going to be making a change, which adds to the impression that they've had a fairly negative half-time message from their manager, not been happy with what he's perhaps seen so far. And we'll bring you that change in just a moment.
Yes, so we're about ready to get started now with the Lions shooting from left to right this half, with no changes, although in the Lions camp, although there is one in the Cheltenham one, which is that Asa Hall is coming on to replace Jack Munns. And he was a player who, for me, actually was ticking things over well in their midfield. So perhaps that marks a change in formation, a change in style. Scoreline just come through. Halifax 0, Aldershot 1. That's a big one. We're back underway anyway here. And flick out for a Guiseley throw on the right-hand side. Hurst will take this one. So Halifax 0, Aldershot 1 just coming through there. The ball short to Hatfield. Hatfield gets it back on the angle. Goes out to the right-hand side. Toulson gets the ball into the box. Not really convincing clearance from Cheltenham. Picked up by Hatfield. Down by the line. Goes the ball across the 6-yard box. And eventually it's enough of a clearance from Danny Parslow to get the ball up to halfway line, where Pell takes over now for Cheltenham on the counter-attack. But he rather overcomplicates it, and Norburn gets a foot in deflects it off Pell, and it's a Guiseley throw.
A good quick start to the second half from Guiseley. You can see that Cheltenham have been stood out for more than 5 minutes, getting cold, some of them. Cameron Burgess actually was guilty of the weak clearance in the box. He's actually trying to run off an injury at the moment that he picked up earlier in the move. Looked like he'd feeling some soreness in his Achilles or something like that, and was gamely trying to get back into the box, and wasn't a confident clearance. I think he'll be fine to continue, but it was all a bit calamitous for Cheltenham. They will steady now in possession.
Ball goes forward towards the head of Holman. It's headed away by Ben Parker, but picked up by Storer. Out to the right hand side now, and the pressure still on Guiseley now as they come in towards the edge of the area there. It's picked up by Hall. Hall, 30 yards from goal, goes back and gives it to Storer again and again. It's sort of pedantic build-up play here from Cheltenham, but they'll go with the ball in towards the edge of the area that's cleared by Danny Lowe. It goes all the way back here again for Dickey to put the ball in, but he's robbed, and Gavin Rothery has the ball for Guiseley under pressure, gets the ball back to Danny Lowe, and then well into the feet of Adam Boyes, and then a dawdle on the ball from Norburn, and Guiseley concede possession in a dangerous place, but Will Hatfield, Jake Lawler works so hard to recover Norburn's mistake, and the ball's away now here with Hurst on the right hand side. He's got the attendance of McClellan. Hurst gets the ball into the box, but that will be comfortable for goalkeeper Flat. But a brighter start from the Lions, and there's still that hunger and the determination to win the ball back when we lose it on show.
Well, guys, they know that if they're going to get anything from today, they need to put in absolutely everything. They can't think about a game on Tuesday or the positions in the table. They just need to really go for it into every challenge, try and keep every pass crisp. And James Hurst is as likely as anyone to produce something. His ball was a little bit weak.
Now Pell's got the ball here. Good challenge comes in from Hurst in defensive duties. He asks the referee if he can pick it up, Stephen Drench, and referee nods. And so Drench claims the ball under pressure.
That was very smart work actually at the back. Both the sliding challenge interception actually by Hurst and Drench, who was under pressure from the striker, still having chance to check that he was cleared to pick it up without conceding an indirect. Would it be an indirect free kick? Do they still exist?
Yeah.
In his own area for a pass back.
Now long ball forward. Adam Boyes has done well. Robbed the ball off the defender, giving it to Hurst. Now Cheltenham has set themselves up in defensive formation. Hurst gets the ball whipped across the face of the goal, but there's no hope really of a Boyes or a Rothery at the back post of connecting with it, and it goes behind for a goal kick.
Well, the idea was right by Hurst. He'd held on to it for a moment because he knew that Adam Boyes was outside of him, and that meant no one was in the box. So he instead of using Boyes in a sort of overlapping position, he tried to hold on to it to give the striker a chance to come infield into the box, but actually was forced into making the delivery sooner than he would have liked in the end.
Ball's been cleared by Guiseley again, up towards Boyes. Boyes gets it down this time and gives it to Norburn. Norburn sprays it to the right-hand side. Hurst, he's got Toulson on the overlap. Toulson pacing down the right flank, gets the ball into the box. Can't beat the first defender, though. And Cheltenham will come away with it. Guys, need to get themselves back into position. Asa Hall himself, a substitute now, plays it infield towards Pell. Pell rides a challenge. He's brought down. Referee gives advantage because Holman's on the ball. Guys, he's still under pressure here and eventually helped away by Hurst. And McLennan wins the ball back here for Cheltenham. Storer plays the ball into the box. It's a lovely floated ball. Drench anticipates well up against Barthram. Barthram collides with Drench, but there's no malice. Two players trying to win possession inside the box, and the Lions keeper comes out on top. And Guys, he move the ball as this opens up this game. Hatfield plays it into Lawler. Lawler under pressure, gets it out to the right hand side. Toulson, he's got Hurst on the right flank if he can pick him out. Toulson comes forward, cuts in field, gives it to Rothery. Rothery looking for an option, plays it all towards the back post, towards where Boyes was, just over his head. Wasn't a bad idea from Gavin Rothery, just was a couple of inches over Adam Boyes, and it's back in the hands of goalkeeper Flat.
Well, this is a completely different pattern of play to what we saw in the first half. It's end to end, it's very, very quick. It will only take one slip by either defence to let in an opposition striker. I really like this overlap of Hurst and Toulson down the right for Guiseley. Very effective when they get it working like they have done in the second half so far.
Hall claiming he was clipped by Toulson. Free throw in is given. Burgess will take, to be fair, to Hall. He does have to put his boot back on.
He's not managed. He's trying to wrap the heel back up, and he's going to actually have to take that boot off. I think the referee will tell them to get on with it now. They're playing around him as he's crouched down on the floor in front of us here.
Norburn gets a touch on the ball to get a clearance in, but the second phase goes down. Atkinson swiftly across to get the ball away up to the halfway line. Boys goes down under the challenge of Burgess, and guys get a free kick just in front of this main stand here.
Well, a bit of action for the seated stand fans over here. It's all happening about 3 feet from the front of the stand at the moment.
And now Guiseley will have a free kick, which Rob Atkinson opts to take, and not really pressuring the high line here. There's probably 20 yards from goal nearest to it. It goes in towards the box. It's headed away by Cheltenham. Jake Lawler tries to win the seconds, but Pell wins it really well. Challenge comes in from Hatfield, but it only finds Holman. Then a loose touch there from Cheltenham, and Guiseley win the ball back, and there's a free kick given against the home side, and a free kick goes to Guiseley, and Billy Waters lost the ball, and the Lions have a chance to take a free kick, which is sort of 35 yards from goal. And Norburn has got 4 or 5 on the edge of the 18-yard box to aim for, including Hurst, including Parker, including Atkinson. There's a bit of tussling on the edge of that penalty area, jostling for position, whipped in by Norburn, up towards the back post, not really kept in play, headed out by McClellan, and it will be a corner to Guiseley on the left-hand side.
Well, these are the sorts of opportunities Guiseley will get a few of in the game, and they have to really try and make best advantage of them. That free kick was one. To get a corner from it is a good outcome, as the referee's just told Guiseley to wait. He's wandering into the 6-yard box to have a word with a few players. There was a second substitution, wasn't there, Colin, that we missed at some point?
Yeah, Morgan Smith has gone off and he's been replaced by Billy Waters. So that's the second substitute. So 2 subs for Cheltenham. The corner comes in towards the 6-yard box, towards the head of Hurst, but it's beaten to him in the air and out for a Guiseley throw just up from the corner flag on the right-hand side. So Cheltenham rolling the dice at half-time to try and turn the course of this game. And a throw to Guiseley, still 0-0 here. And we've had 53 minutes. Throw from the right flank from Tulson into the box, flicked up in the air by Hurst, claimed by the goalkeeper. Flat, and really Guiseley have yet to create a direct goal-scoring chance despite the pressure. And now Cheltenham on the counter-attack. We've had 1 or 2 chances, might nearly have scored themselves with the substitute Waters up against Gavin Rothery, but Guiseley win that time, and then good control from Jake Lawler. Oh, the referee's given a free kick against him for a handball, and he's completely fluffed that one, I'm afraid. Lawler was controlling the ball with his chest. It might have touched his arm, but there's no way that was a handball. But anyway, free kick is to Cheltenham.
Well, it's a complete shocker, that decision, but Ollie Yates has also got his hands full with Cheltenham's captain, Kyle Storer, screaming in his face and remonstrating and gesturing. So he's got both teams quite unhappy with him at the moment. Mr. Yates, who'd be a referee.
Yeah, who'd be a referee, eh? I'm sure he won't like that one when he looks back. But 54 minutes gone. Now Cheltenham with the free kick, floated into the area. Ben Parker tries to get underneath it, goes over. It's going to be a corner to Cheltenham. Took enough of a touch off Hurst's head to take it away from the striker. And now the Lions have to set themselves in defensive position. Only Will Hatfield up front. Everybody else inside that 18-yard box.
I think I called that in the first half, didn't I? That I'd bring Adam Boyes back for the corners and leave someone else up top.
Yeah, you did actually. Guiseley now having to defend because Cheltenham with the corner on the right-hand side, played into the box, headed over, and it was Dickey, I think, who managed to stoop to get the header in, but he couldn't keep it down, and it's behind for a goal kick. It's got a little bit more overcast here as the spring weather turns. Once again, we've got to put the floodlights on.
Yeah, it's turned cold in the last 15 minutes. And there is rain forecast later today. I don't know if that'll hit us before 5 o'clock. Hopefully it won't, because there are very good conditions for playing football in today, generally.
I have not. I'm walking home.
No, yeah. That's another good reason. Another very valid reason.
It's all about me. Cheltenham now win the ball in the centre circle from the goal kick, and they've got some headway now down this right-hand side. The ball played in towards the penalty spot, up towards Hall. He heads it towards the goal. It's cleared, and then there's an offside flag against Waters, I think. And just as Asa Hall looked like he was going to set himself to drill one goal bound, the flag on that far side intervenes, and Guiseley get the free kick.
Yes, he was winding up Paul Scholes style with the ball breaking on the edge of the box to drill it in, but goodness knows how the linesman has called an offside in and amongst all of that in there.
1,058 crammed into Nethermoor Park. It doesn't look so crammed though now, does it? When you had a 1,000 plus attendance here, it always used to be very much look for the space.
Yeah,
the changes have changed that.
It's a lot more comfortable with the extra rows of standing, and I think the plan is in the summer, Colin, is to drop the dugouts a little bit over the other side to actually dig them out, old-fashioned style dugouts, because at the moment there's all this new terracing and standing on the cricket side of the ground. There's hardly anybody stood over there at all today, basically because of the slightly strange experience of trying to look through the curved lids of the dugouts. So it will only get better at Nethermoor, I think.
Hatfield now plays the ball forward for Guiseley as they enjoy a spell of possession. He's nodded it forward towards Rothery. Rothery plays it infield. There's a shout for a handball. Well, I mean, if Rollers was, then that was. And it's not given, but it's cleared. Cheltenham now on the left-hand side with Waters over the halfway line, looking to cut infield. He's up against Hatfield, but Waters still on the ball. Torquay 0, Tranmere 1. There's another good scoreline for us. Torquay 0, Tranmere 1. The ball's now with Dickey for Cheltenham. He plays it infield, finds Storer, crossfield ball to the right-hand side, chested down, played into the box, up towards Waters. There's a free kick because as Ben Parker stooped down to head the ball away from Waters, Waters was trying to win it with a high foot, and the two collided, and a free kick to Guiseley in the penalty area.
A brave defending by Ben Parker to put his face in harm's way. That handball previously on the edge of Cheltenham's area, his hand is low, his hand's down at waist height, so it's hard to say. But it also looked like he slapped it down, sort of basketball dribbling style as well. So it would have taken a very brave referee to give that there, though, in a very dangerous position.
Trench tries to play it out towards Hurst on the left-hand flank. Hurst is wrestling to try and win the ball from Dickey, but it goes over both of them and out for a Cheltenham throw, which they take very quickly. Holman now on the ball, trying to get his footing after being challenged twice. Norburn now closes down Storer, wins the ball back with a thunderous challenge, but the ball still falls back here to Storer, who plays a nice one in, but Atkinson was alive to the danger. He goes down under the collision with Holman, and Holman protests, but it'll be a free kick to Guiseley. That will do as well, actually, because just breaking up the pressure from Cheltenham on a couple of occasions there.
It was an awkward little tumble, that, actually, for Rob Atkinson. I was a bit worried for his left ankle there for a second. He'd had to come out of position, pull himself across to the left, and he was very, very brave and alert. And he was smarting a little bit from having his ankle curled up underneath him, I think, as he felt. He's moving okay. Exciting game this since half-time, Colin.
Free kick's gone forward. Boyce has nodded it up into the air, but there was no real hope of Rothery being able to get on the end of it. There was 3 or 4 purple shirts around him. Cheltenham now looking to move forward here. Hall plays a good ball down this left-hand side, looking to release McLennan, but great work from Atkinson, who, under real pressure, manages to pick out a pass to Lawler, who in turn actually picks a rather loose ball back to Danny Lowe. He does well and clears, and it'll go back to Parslow. But look at Norburn chasing up the field, trying to exert a bit of pressure on the Cheltenham back line. Anything that can perhaps change the dynamic of Cheltenham moving forward on the ball. In the end, it's back with goalkeeper Jonathan Flatt. North Ferriby, meanwhile, in the north are going really great guns. They're beating Fylde 3-1 today. Good ball forward, actually, from Cheltenham. It's laid in towards the edge of the area by Harry Pell, cleared. Back here to Barthram. Barthram tries to spin on the ball. Good challenge comes in, though, from Hurst. He gets it up towards Boys. Boys challenged by Parslow. The ball won back again. Dickey now gets the ball into the area. Holman spins on the ball. Good tackle comes in again from Rob Atkinson. Only to the halfway line. Guiseley completely camped in their own half at the moment. Settling back too deep perhaps just at the moment. Asa Hall on the ball. Plays it up towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Jake Lawler goes for the header and it bounces over him. Stephen Drench. Palms face downward, just telling the Lions to just take a moment, calm down and regroup.
Well, Cheltenham, since half-time, passing has been a lot more positive, a lot more direct. They've been trying to use the height advantage a lot more. And it is hard for Guiseley not to get pushed back, because when those balls are coming forward from Cheltenham's defence, there isn't a chance to squeeze out.
The free kick was just given against Hurst. They took it very quickly. It was trying to change the angle, a ball across field towards McClellan, but he just got their lines wrong. McClellan couldn't keep the ball in play. Guiseley get the throw inside the visitors' half now, and Toulson plays it up towards Boys, but Boys might get a first touch. He doesn't really get a chance to get a second touch. He's under tremendous pressure from Parslow, and it's up here just up from the corner flag. Back to Toulson. Toulson's poor cross actually in the end, and it doesn't go high in the air, and it's cleared. But the clearance is intercepted by Danny Lowe. Guys, keep it moving forward though with Toulson. Sends it back here to Atkinson. He plays it down the right hand side. It was over hit by Atkinson, but he did a lot of work to make sure he got onto the ball after Ryan Toulson's ball was just a little short to him. Still 0-0.
You're feeling the tension just building up a little bit inside the ground. It was quite a relaxed Saturday afternoon atmosphere earlier.
Hatfield's just won the ball off Storer, plays it towards the left-hand side. Hurst on the angle of the penalty area. Can he get a shot away? No, he's gone too far. Tries to get the cross. It takes a deflection. It's gone behind. It'll be a goal kick. The last touch was off Will Hatfield. That's a disappointing end to what was a promising move.
It was a fantastic opportunity, wasn't it? I'm just keeping an eye on the Guiseley bench at the moment. Ollie Johnson is the closest to fully warmed up. Dan Atkinson's got his goalkeeping shirt out in front of him as though he's planning on putting it on. Haven't seen any problems with Stephen Drench.
I think he's just keeping his knees warm.
Yeah.
The ball's just a long one into the goalkeeper. Yeah, Ollie Johnson seems to have been doing more of the warm-up that I've noticed when I've just glanced over that way than any other. Picked up now by Cheltenham, and again guys, he's sort of setting themselves back, trying to create those defensive walls that so far have proved impenetrable to the visitors. But now Burgess comes up from the back, plays the ball to the left hand side. It's into the box from McClellan, into towards the edge of the 6-yard box, bouncing around awkwardly. No one can get on the end of it. Norburn gets a foot through it, up to Boys. Boys is dispossessed. Danny Lowe gets hold of the ball, plays it out to the right back Toulson, and Toulson up towards the halfway line, headed on again as Cheltenham win the ball back here. Hall inside the centre circle, gives it to Storer, and now again Burgess coming forward, plays it straight into Hall's body, and Hall plays a ball on towards the edge of the D to Holman, and in the end it goes out to the right hand side where Storer again collects the ball for the visitors in towards the Waters. Is inside the penalty area, a little dispossession from Hurst, but Waters picks it up again into the area, up in the air by Toulson. Guys, you don't get a good clearance. There's a challenge on Gavin Rothery by George McClellan, which the referee decides is a free kick. Must admit that looked a little weak to me, but will gratefully receive the chance to break up that attacking move.
Yeah, there was nothing in the challenge. So it's a great opportunity to relieve a bit of this building pressure for Guiseley, but I think if I was a Cheltenham fan I'd feel quite hard done by. The decision to put Hurst over on the left and Rothery to the right, presumably that's been made partly to give Danny Lowe a bit of extra cover. It's giving Ryan Toulson all sorts of problems because Gavin doesn't want to come out as far right. He's not getting as much cover out there. Gavin's more prone to drift in field as he's just been fouled right in the centre of the pitch. But it's creating lots of opportunities for Cheltenham to attack Guiseley down their left against Toulson at right back.
Yeah, he almost moved exactly at the point to prove your point, Gavin Rothery, when he picked the ball up on the right flank, cut in field. But on this occasion he's earned Guiseley a free kick. It's about 10 yards from the edge of the centre circle, fairly central, and Guiseley have got 4-5 players on the edge of the 18-yard box that could capitalise. This ball whipped in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's a decent ball, but nobody really attacked it in the zone where it was delivered from Norburn. And in the end, it sort of strolls behind for a goal kick.
I'll put yourself in Mark's shoes now, Colin. You've got 2 or 3 good attackers on the bench. What on earth do you do at this stage of the game? We're under a lot of pressure.
And Cheltenham again are coming forward.
You've got good outlet options on the bench, Ollie Johnson and Anthony Dudley being probably the most likely two. But do you sacrifice a midfielder and bring on an extra striker? Do you take Adam Boyes off, who's doing all the hard work at the moment as the lone forward?
Well, Cheltenham pick the ball up now as they move down this right-hand side. And then there's a free kick given against Holman for the challenge of Jake Lawler.
He didn't get him. He didn't get him.
A yellow card to Jake Lawler on that occasion.
Yeah, I think if it's a foul, then it's a yellow card. I don't think Jake Lawler made contact with the player.
Well, they're going to make their third and final substitute at Cheltenham very shortly. Looks like James Dayton on that far bench. Meanwhile, guys, you're going to have to defend a free kick here. Jake Lawler now on the first yellow card of the day.
It's a sign of how dissatisfied the Cheltenham boss is with the afternoon so far, that he's made all 3 of his changes at 4:25 in the afternoon. 2 of them basically at half time. You can almost hear them using the phrase "only Guiseley" in the half-time team talk, or not even Guiseley.
So 67 minutes gone, 0-0, but a free kick here in a very dangerous position for Cheltenham, about level with the angle of the D on the right-hand side, 10 yards up from the penalty spot, really, very close to goal, perfect position for a shot, and it's going to be Hall maybe that'll take it. No, it's Drayton who'll take it, palmed past the upright by Stephen Drench. You watched that one well, and in the end did enough to turn it behind, and it's going to be a Cheltenham corner.
Good following actually by guys who they wanted to take it quickly, Cheltenham. I had a bad feeling about that free kick, I still do.
Waters gets the ball in from the right-hand flank, but right across the top of the heads of everyone in the penalty area, and comfortably out for a Guiseley throw-in right-back position.
It is tense, isn't it? Because at 0-0, it's so tight, and you know that Cheltenham are the better team, and everything says they should win. But you do believe, don't you? That little bit of hope remains as long as it stays level.
As they say, it's not the despair that kills you; it's the hope, isn't it?
No, time and time again, in our experience.
Guys, he managed to hoof the ball away, and again it's going to go all the way back into Cheltenham's left-back position this time for a throw. Boston 3, Bradford Park Avenue 0. So Liam Dickinson's having a busy old time, I suspect, down at York Street. And he's in goal this afternoon, if you hadn't heard. Wrexham 0, Dover 1. Wrexham next up here at Nethermoor on Tuesday night. Ball up in the air, Stoker gets his back to it. Now McClellan has it. He chips the ball forward, headed away by Rob Atkinson, up to the centre circle. Now Atkinson steps over, plays the ball forward. Boyes peels off between the 2 strikers. He goes out to the right-hand side. An awful lot of work still for him to do. Can he get some support? Boyes tries to chip it into the area, finds Hatfield. Hatfield gets the ball back onto the right flank with Rothery. Rothery's got 2 on top of him, and he doesn't quite know which way to go, so he goes backwards. And he's not got too much options. He has to go back to Atkinson on the halfway line. He's been chased down by Waters, as is Ben Parker.
Fabulous defending by Cheltenham. I mean, the pressing.
Now, Hatfield picks the ball up some distance from goal, plays it out towards Boyes, but it's beyond him. Picked up now by Norburn. Norburn aims for a shot, gets a drilled effort away, hits the midriff of Parslow, and in the end it takes the sting out of the effort enough for the goalkeeper to prevent it going behind for a corner.
And that's why you hold on to the ball and you don't just hit and hope. If you're patient in possession, that's a definite handball. that one, his arms are in the air protesting. Who is that over there?
Well, it's Holman.
Holman again.
Did hit his arm, and he did have his arm up in the air. He was lofting for the, helping himself up for the effort to win the header. Guys are now making the work down this right-hand side. Toulson gets the cross, but he's again just overhit it. Hurst trying to win the ball back on the far side, but he's beaten to it, and it's going to be a throw-in for Cheltenham.
Look, this kind of suits us, that we generally acquit ourselves well in a football game, in an open game. That's not to say I think we'll still get something from the game at all, but if they're going to go for it, that gives us chances to play, and we're okay going forward. You know, it's we don't take all of our chances, but we play some good football.
Well, whatever happens, the performance is so important, and guys, you have put in a performance this afternoon, this first 70 minutes. Still 0-0. Toulson plays a good one over the top here. Gavin Rothery making a bit of space down the right hand side. Now he's closed down by McClellan. Rothery can't get past him. He does actually get the ball into the box, but it's just beyond. Well, it's well beyond Adam Boyes. And guys, you now have to get back into defensive positions because they're moving down this left flank of the league leaders. Waters well tackled from Atkinson. Super challenge. And then Toulson and Boyes, they're just on different wavelengths, it feels at times. And they were again. Boyes went to try to go beyond the last man, and Toulson played at the opposite side. Guys are now having to defend. Waters on the edge of the 18-yard box, gets a shot, it's a decent one, but it curls just over the bar and behind.
Glad Stephen Drench knows where his crossbar is, Colin. I thought that was dipping.
Stephen Drench looks an awful lot more nonchalant than we wanted him to look at that moment. It is safely behind, though, and it's a goal kick to the Lions.
Well, this is quite a game now, isn't it? This is, you know, anyone looking at this is going to think, oh, 0-0, Guiseley have camped 11 behind the ball, and it's attack against defence and a training game and all of the cliches. But this is a really gripping game,
and a real challenge now for Guiseley if they can hold out. The ball forward, headed on by Toulson. It'd be such an important point. Will Hatfield takes the ball away from Pell. He's only got Boyes ahead of him. Hatfield keeps running. He's been tackled, says the referee, although he looked like he was fouled. Burgess, though, allegedly got enough of the ball, and it goes out of play. And I'm not quite sure what happened there, because if Burgess got enough of the ball, didn't it go out for a Guiseley throw? But it's actually a Cheltenham throw.
It's a very chaotic sequence of events and not strong officiating, I'm afraid to say.
Ball down this left-hand side. Guys, win it back again, though, with Hatfield, but it's only temporarily. Hall gets a tackle in, but Hatfield muscles him out and gets the throw for the Lions.
And I'm gonna break this to you, Colin. Ollie Johnson is imminent, I think.
Rothery, perhaps. Who do you think? I'd say Gav Rothery will be the man to make way.
He's put his shirt on. He's just pausing again. I may have mistimed that, but he's got his shirt on. But now he's put his training, his substitute's warming up bib back on. So maybe he's got a little bit more to do. I don't know.
Maybe he's just a bit cold. Meanwhile, on the counter-attack, Cheltenham just poked the low ball long. Well defended, though, between Parker and Atkinson.
I'm sorry, Colin. The coveted Guiseley jersey is not a base layer.
Everything's a base layer for me. The ball goes forward up towards Hurst, but again there's an offside decision given. I'm not quite sure how, but presumably when we were looking down there, Boyes was caught out the wrong side. And the goalkeeper, Flat, is just pointed out that he might be stealing a couple of yards.
It's a bit of a recurring theme. It's been a bit tiresome watching the officials trying to put them back to restart from the right place this afternoon.
Ball goes forward. And now Guiseley managed to clear it with Rothery. Not such good news is that Chester are now level, 1-1 with Lincoln City, but we're still holding on here. Harrogate Town, meanwhile, having a miserable afternoon, losing 3-1 at Alfreton. This ball in towards the edge of the box is repelled by Guiseley once again, but the second phase one back here by McClellan on the left-hand side. His cross actually bounces off the back of Waters, the Cheltenham substitute, unable to get the ball away, and then he is adjudged just to have knocked Rothery over. But I don't know if there was a little clip in it. He didn't protest it. It certainly looked a bit soft, to be honest, from here. But
I don't think Gavin actually quite had the pace to continue that move forward, and he was probably quite grateful to feel a hand on his back.
Who'd be a referee, eh? Who'd be a referee?
Dear, oh dear.
Toughest job. Taken by Stephen Drench. Played forward. Helped away by the Cheltenham defence once again. Ryan Toulson battling to try and win the ball back. He does win a throw for the Lions. And now Toulson still on OJ watch, but he's still not coming on yet.
It's all quietened down over there.
Toulson into Hatfield. He plays the ball off Storer and gets another throw. 15 minutes to go. Another 5 minutes pass as we head towards possibly the potential of a point.
Tom Craddock's giving up for the afternoon as well. He's putting his outside thick coat back on.
Pell defends for Cheltenham. Up to the halfway line where it's headed on by Lowe. Picked up now by Storer. Storer has had a lot of the ball in midfield, real commanding midfielder. Now a good ball that's touched in from Hall, and it finds the substitute Drayton, and the substitute Waters hits the inside of the upright and clear, and that really should have been Cheltenham taking the lead. A lovely flowing move from the visitors. Found Billy Waters on the edge of the area, but his shot came back off the top edge of the upright and bounced away. Guiseley still have to defend. Dickey now plays the ball in towards the penalty area. Waters again with another chance to chip the ball in, and it's in towards the net, and it's somehow scrambled off the line, and then a second chance, and eventually Guiseley managed to clip it up in the air, and it's still in the penalty area. Nobody gets on the end of it. A shout from Hall that there would be a free kick or something when he goes down. In the end, it's just bundled out for a corner, and Guiseley have lived on their nerves on 2 instances there. Drayton now with the ball quickly into the box again, headed away, this time by Adam Boyes right back there. Then Storer on the edge of the D. Good challenge comes in from Hurst. Guiseley managed to get it away. Now Danny Lowe on the counter-attack. Danny Lowe goes forward. He's got Norburn on the left-hand side. He's the most advanced player. This is all completely breathless stuff here at the moment. Guiseley have had 2 unbelievable clearances off the line to deny Cheltenham, but now have the ball on the halfway line with Jake Lawler. And no intention really of us attacking this Cheltenham goal. And then Norburn is bundled over. What did you make of all that, Nick? I don't know if I described any half of it right.
Well, the important things at the end to say is it's 0-0. Asa Hall is injured. He's carrying a knock. He was the man who was down in the area for quite a while as part of that move. Rob Atkinson is just checking his ankles. Ollie Norburn, I think it was, sat down on the far side of the pitch. There were casualties all over at the outcome of that move. It is 0-0. I swore that they must have scored 2 or 3 times during that passage.
Low with the ball into the area. It found Jake Lawler, who just managed to float off towards the back of the goal. He got a header in, but it was curled. It span away from the goal and behind. That could have been the moment for Guiseley to have snaked one.
I mean, it was as unconvincing a header as you could imagine to see, and he was in the perfect position. I don't think he realised it. He'd peeled off the man at the back post. Goalkeeper was coming across to meet him. There was a gap at the near post, and he just didn't look confident with his head, Jake.
12 minutes to go.
All of that passage of play is so hard to describe in the box, but Guiseley were opened up by a move of real quality and class and pace.
You can't deny the quality of this Cheltenham side, and Guiseley were inevitably going to be reliant on some real last-ditch defending. Adam Boyes, meanwhile, has gone to ground, claims a free kick. Referee says no. Cheltenham on the ball. A long ball up towards the edge of the 18-yard box, flicked on. Danny Lowe wants to let this one go out, but he's under too much pressure from Holman, so an overhead clearance forces Norburn to get another foot onto it. Hurst tries to keep it in the end he launches the ball into the trees on the cricket side of the field, and it'll be a throw-in for Cheltenham midway through the Guiseley half on the right-hand side. Thrown infield, finds Waters, who could have scored a few moments ago, his shot hitting the upright. Ball goes in, and there's a free kick being given against Hurst with the challenge on Dickey, and this will be a free kick to Cheltenham, about level with the penalty area on the right-hand side by the touchline on the far side there, just in front of the George Stock stand. So this is going to be really quite tense stuff here for the Lions once again. Yeah,
and the referee was just calling James Hurst back for a final word about that, but cards in his pockets. This is Cheltenham's opportunity, surely. These are the moments they've been waiting for, everybody in the Guiseley area.
Free kick will come from the right-hand side. Storer to take. The captain, Kyle Storer, has got plenty of options to aim for. Referee blows the whistle. This one whipped in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's found Dickey. It's free inside the 6-yard box, and after such brave resilience from Guiseley, it looks like a late goal for Cheltenham with 10 minutes to go. Will be enough for the 3 points here, but Rob Dickey have scored, and it's now Guiseley 0, Cheltenham 1.
Well, it was a perfect place to take a free kick. It was a perfect delivery into the box. It was met well. It was buried as Drench was moving. It was the header was in the reverse direction, the hardest sort for a goalkeeper to get towards. really well worked free kick. Heartbreak for Guiseley. At least that makes Mark Bauer's mind up, though. He knows he'll need to roll the dice. I think we will see changes probably in fairly short order. Ollie Johnson's back out warming up. He's the only one actually so far. As Guiseley get ready to have a second chance at restarting this game. The referee wasn't happy with the first. Guiseley now know that they have a mountain to climb. Is this the third attempt at restarting this game?
Because of some pernickety nature of a player being over the halfway line by half an inch. Ball goes forward. It should be a Guiseley throw. Will Hatfield will take it.
Well, the task, sorry Colin, is very simple, or the challenge is very simple at least. The task is very hard. You have 8 or 9 minutes of normal time left. What can you make? You have nothing to lose. You've been defending all game. Let's see what you've got going forward. Is it anything? Is it nothing?
Well, there's a couple of scorelines to warm the heart. Chester now losing 2-1 at Lincoln, and Aldershot have got a second at Halifax. So Halifax now 2-0 down. Will Hatfield pulled back by Hall, and Hall should get a yellow card for that, no question. Asa Hall does. Sorry, it was Pell rather, who gets into the book. And he took one for the team there because he saw that Hatfield had just got past him.
He's desperately trying to get himself. Sorry, Colin. He's desperately trying to get himself sent off, having committed the foul, to continue rugby tackling the guy, wrapping his arms around the waist, stop the free kick being taken quickly.
Ollie Johnson is stripped off and ready to come on. I think it's going to be Gavin Rothery. We'll wait and see who'll come off.
It would make the most sense. Bring James Hurst back to the right. Ollie Johnson would come on the left.
Oh no, I think if the number's gone up, it's not going to be the one I'm not quite sure of. Well, let's just wait and see. The free kick anyway for Guiseley on the halfway line. Tilson sends it long up towards the penalty area. Atkinson flicks it on into the box, but again Cheltenham hold firm, and again the referee whistles.
Suddenly Ollie Yates is a disposition to blow his whistle every 30 or 40 seconds, no matter what's happening on the pitch. Feels quite aggravating, doesn't it?
So it's James Hurst who's coming off. Again, I'm not quite sure that of the two, James Hurst, who's been on the left-hand side, Gavin Rothery on the right. I would have thought you'd have wanted Ollie Johnson out on the right flank, so hence why I thought Gavin Rothery.
I think I would now send Anthony Dudley out. It looks like it's Tom Craddock actually who's more likely, but I'd now send the other striker on the bench out to get ready to come on, and Gavin would probably be the next man. He's not done anything wrong at Gavin today, not picking on him, he's played very well. But, Will Hatfield and Norburn have played excellently in the centre, so you'd think you'd bring on a more attacking player for one of your other wide midfielders.
There's a real flare-up going on at the moment. Well, flare-up, there's real tension going on. Oliver Norburn just reacting to a challenge. And there is a substitute. As you say, Tom Craddock is coming on. He's getting ready to go. Waters, meanwhile, in the Guiseley half, is dispossessed. Ollie Johnson gets on the ball, skips past one. He's brought down. Free kick to Guiseley inside their own half, and that'll give chance for Tom Craddock to come on. Go on, your last bet. Who do you think it's going to be?
Well, I'd still say Gavin. If it's Adam Boyes, I think he needn't feel ashamed of being brought on and off in the same game. I think he's played reasonably well. I would hope it's for a midfielder, and we're going all out.
Well, Waters has just been spoken to for the referee for a latest challenge on Atkinson. The ball had gone.
Sorry, Colin, I'm talking across you in the excitement here. I've been very well behaved today, and I'm just cutting you off every other sentence. Now that they're ahead, all the little tricks are coming out, aren't they? And it sours it a little bit. Gosh, okay.
Will Hatfield. Okay, so Tom Craddock's coming on for Will Hatfield.
I think Will's played brilliantly today.
Yeah, and he's been tigerish in midfield, as well as showing a willingness to get forward. And so certainly, I didn't see that one coming.
No.
Free kick to Guiseley anyway, just on the ledge of the centre circle inside the Lions half. So it's going to be long from Stephen Drench. Sends it up towards the edge of the 18-yard box, up towards Atkinson. He gets the ball, it's up in the air, and headed away again from a purple head. And it's won back by, not literally purple, it's won back by Adam Boyes, and then the ball blasted against Drayton. It's going to be a Guiseley throw. And it's taken quickly by Danny Lowe. Tom Craddock gets his first touch on the ball out by the touchline on the left-hand side, but he can't control under pressure from 2. So Cheltenham clear, and it's hoofed all the way back to Stephen Drench, who collectedly plays it into the feet of Tilson. Tilson will send this one long down the left-hand channel. It's a decent ball towards Craddock, but well intercepted by Dickey, the goal scorer. Surely there's a handball there from Drayton, and he goes into the book. Dayton, rather. He's just stuck an arm out to prevent the ball going past him, and we've had a flurry of yellow cards. Pell, Lawler, Dayton in the last while. It really means so much to both sides.
I don't think I've ever seen so many handball decisions to be made in a game as this afternoon.
Important moment this for Guiseley. Can Norburn deliver? It's a free kick. It's about level with the centre circle, maybe up by 10 yards. So it's on the left-hand side. There are 7 or 8 Guiseley players all on the edge of the 18-yard box. And Norburn gesticulates, plays this one in up towards Atkinson, and it's helped away. Norburn actually collects the second ball. He's going to float this one long again up in towards Boys' territory, but it's headed away once again by Burgess, helped away by Hall, and again headed away by this time Parslow, as Guiseley struggle to recover, and it falls rather fortuitously here to Holman, and Holman down that right hand side. He's held up well by Danny Lowe before he gets any movement down that flank. So still 1-0 to Cheltenham. We've got 3 minutes of normal time to go. Huge victory this will be for the Robins, but for Guiseley it's another tale of disappointment after bravely holding out until the last 10 minutes when Rob Dickey headed home from inside the 6-yard box. Lowe does well to get the header away.
It's potentially a huge result for them in their title chase, isn't it?
Parker forced to launch the ball into the cricket field. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Absolutely.
I don't think Forest Green would have been assuming they would that Cheltenham would drop any points at Guiseley, but for a while this afternoon it looked like that may well be the case. Not just for a while, for the vast majority of the game.
It's been a long while since there's been a victory for this Nethermoor faithful to enjoy here at home. Anyway, it's November since we last won at home in the league. So many draws at the moment. Cheltenham have the ball in the left-hand side, and managed to do well here. Dickey has got the ball into the area towards Holman. His touch, and it spins past Stephen Drench, and it's now 2-0 to Cheltenham. Game, set and match for the league leaders. And Guiseley, after holding out for so long, have conceded 2 in the last 10 minutes.
Well, fair enough. It was a good performance today by Guiseley. Stern resistance. Made some chances to get something from the game. But the class of Cheltenham has just been a little bit too much. And in this last quarter of the game, it has started to show, in all honesty. And at 2-0, I think we can say that the result is probably in no doubt. In fact, it's triggered a fairly rapid exodus of fans from around us in the stands. Guiseley will chase, ball lumped forward, but not much time left, is there, Colin?
No, we were into the last minute of normal time, and Waters on the ball. Good thumping challenge comes in from Lowe. But you do feel that the game's up this afternoon. Perhaps nobody expected us to get anything this afternoon, but with 10 minutes to go and such a brave resistance that had been put in, and moments where we cleared balls off the line with heroics and players putting their bodies on the line, it certainly feels now like a cruel result for us. But Cheltenham undoubtedly full of quality and aren't first in the league without good reason. It goes into the Lions half, headed on by Jake Lawler, up in the air, and the ball comes down here for McClellan to pick up. He rolls it into the feet of Pell, and then it goes out, and we're going to have 4 more minutes here. But I think, to be honest, I can't think of a moment where we've actually really tested the goalkeeper today. So to break Cheltenham's resistance twice would be quite something.
Just watching Asa Hall, he's really been in the wars since he came on. got a problem with his right arm. He's worried about his wrist or his forearm or something around his hand. It's the second time he's picked up an injury since the third substitution was used by Cheltenham.
I'm not quite sure. He's had an awful lot of luck. He's struggled with his Achilles. He's missed the whole last season with an Achilles injury, so he really hasn't got a great track record on that score.
Oh, and James Dayton's hurt as well now. And
there's a yellow card for Waters.
Because the world's worst fight breaking out 20 yards away from the referee, and it's all very, very silly.
Well, I don't know why it's all kind of bubbling over now, but Ben Parker's in the thick of it.
Well,
He's not happy about something.
Harry Pell and Oliver Norburn had got into something, and Ben Parker came across to try and settle it down, and Pell got into Ben Parker as well. Not often you see Ben Parker losing his temper. He's calm again now and talking to the referee. But it was something that Pell had done to Ollie Norburn. A couple of older heads are going to Norburn now and patting him on the back and telling him to keep his head.
Basically, it's a good tactic, isn't it, to break up the last few moments, just have a little bit of a tussle. What we've got to do is not fall into the trap of reacting to it or being involved in it.
It's pathetic. Since they went ahead, all the tricks have come out, all the little niggles, all the little time wastes, all the grabbing an extra few yardses, and basically Harry Pell noticed while the referee was down booking the other player in the corner that he would try and start something, and this is poor, and it'll get reported to the FA as an incident where there's been a long stoppage and there's been players involved in a dust-up. Ben Parker's being booked for his role now, and the referee's walking over to Oliver Norburn as well. The referee didn't see any of this. He's going on what his assistants told him happened. Nothing doing for Pell, who was the instigator for Cheltenham, and thoroughly unsatisfactory all round.
No. It's a red card, I think. Oh no, yeah. It's a red card for Harry Pell, a second yellow.
Oh, well, I'll take it back then.
For the last few moments of the game, Pell is going to watch from the stands. He's protesting. There is no reason to, particularly. It's a sour note at the end of the game, but we've had 2 minutes of the added 4 now. And Holman's head in hands, protesting that it shouldn't have been given, but referee Ollie Yates has sent off Harry Pell right at the end of this game. But with Cheltenham Town leading by 2-0, it certainly doesn't mean an awful lot to the result today.
Well, if I'm right, then between the incident where was it Waters who was booked first of all down in the corner? There's four yellows and a red in one stoppage there, and that's gonna generate. I think that generates a charge or a query that needs answering by both clubs in the aftermath of the game. It's very silly because there's been nothing in the game. It's been very well contested, a good game of football on the pitch, and
just means so much, doesn't it?
Yeah. Whether it's things boiling over or frustration after the result's been decided or what, or whether it's Cheltenham instigating to try and run the clock down, I don't know, but it's a really poor way to end what's been a good afternoon's football.
Well, it's finished Borehamwood 0, Southport 2, and it's finished Torquay 0, Tranmere 1, so that's 2 little bits of positivity.
As you were then, basically.
Looks like Altrincham will have made up a point on us, though. Welling also have had their game turned round, so they were trailing 2-1 last time I saw. They're not really going to escape now, I would have thought. Guiseley on the ball on the right-hand side. Ollie Johnson. Oliver, I was using his Sunday name there, but he couldn't get past his marker, Dickie, and it's out for a throw-in to Cheltenham, which will probably take a little while to take. We've had 4.5 minutes, but we'll have a few moments more because of that long stoppage for an awful lot of nonsense. Finished Grimsby 0, Eastleigh 0 as well. And eventually we're back underway. The ball played into the Guiseley half. Cheltenham playing with 10 men now. After Pell was sent off, Stephen Drench lofts the ball forward with a clearance. Tries to find Craddock. Swipe at the ball from Hall. Won back here by Gavin Rothery. Rothery back to Parker. Parker to Lowe. Guys, he just need to poke it forward. Oh, and the referee decides to call time on 5 minutes out of the 4. Well, 3 of them were for extra time.
Whatever.
Well, I don't think there was much hope of us recovering anyway. But it's finished here after a really brave performance for 80 minutes of it. Guiseley 0, Cheltenham 2.
Yeah, a creditable performance, one that showed real team spirit. I don't think there's an awful lot more that Guiseley could have done today. The only thing you can imagine would be making the attacking substitutions sooner, but I don't know how you could make that call if you were Mark Bauer when the game's going according to plan and you look possibly on track for an unlikely draw and a vital point against the top team in the league. However, they remain the top team in the league. They take all 3 points today. Guiseley, there'll be a few tired players tomorrow, but their main task now is to get turned around. They have Wrexham here on Tuesday, a very similar sort of scenario. The game in Wales was a cracker earlier this year, and one where we felt we could have maybe stolen all or earned all 3 points. So that's all Guiseley need to worry about now. They don't need to worry about missed opportunities today. They've done themselves proud. The form book has been followed. It's basically all the status quo has been retained in the relegation zone, and the focus for Guiseley is picking up points at the next possible opportunity to try and stay ahead of the relegation pack.
Well, thank you, Nick, and thank you to Colin for this afternoon's coverage. It's not quite turned out the way that we might have hoped. It's finished here, Guiseley 0, Cheltenham Town 2, 2 late goals. Despite a valiant effort by the Lions' defence to keep them out, the Vanarama National League leaders continue an edge ever closer to an immediate return to the Football League. We're going to go have a quick look through some of the other scorelines, which I have to tell you straight away have done us some favours today. We'll start with the news that Boreham Wood have lost 2-0 at home to Southport. Guiseley obviously losing 2-0 at home to Cheltenham. Halifax have lost 2-0 at home to Aldershot, and Lincoln City recovered from a Chester City equaliser to win 2-1 there, and Torquay have lost 1-0 at home to Tranmere. Kidderminster completed a surprising turnaround in the second half to beat Welling 2-1, which does Welling obviously no favours, but does Kidderminster's relegation is a case of when, not if. Other scorelines this afternoon: Altrincham 0, Bromley 0, Barrow 1, Macclesfield 1, Braintree 1, Forest Green 1 is into injury time. Grimsby 0, Eastleigh 0. Eastleigh had a man sent off, and Woking 1, Gateshead 0. Wrexham 0, Dover 1 is another one into injury time. Looking at the table then, the games down the bottom of the half of the table have finished. Kidderminster are on played 42 and 32 points. Welling played 43 and 35 points. Altrincham played 42 and 41 points. Boreham Wood 43 and 41 points. Halifax 41 and 43 points. Guiseley in 19th with 42 played, minus 24 goal difference and a 43 points. Torquay just ahead despite defeat today. 42 and 44. It has tightened up something wicked down that bottom half of the table. Looking at the top half, our visitors today, Cheltenham, with Forest Green's draw against Braintree. They pulled 6 points clear at the top with 3 games to play. It's looking very much like an immediate return to the Football League for Cheltenham. Forest Green just behind on 86 points. Dover have 77 points, Grimsby 76, Tranmere 72, and Braintree just behind on 69. Eastleigh and Wrexham are chasing, but Wrexham suffered a debilitating home defeat at the hands of Dover this afternoon. We hope, and perhaps that will knock some confidence out of them on Tuesday, because now the Lions have to do a job on the men from Wales. I'm joined again by Chris Bell. Chris, pick the bones out of that one.
Could have been a lot worse. I think at half time we were pleased to be going loud at the break. Second half, we just didn't get enough going forward, did we? We didn't trouble enough. We had a few good crosses, but nobody on the end of them, or good crosses in towards the back post, but just nobody there. And, you know, you've got to have people in the right places on the rare opportunities that we had going forward if we're going to get anything. But, you know, it's only 2. You know, we dug in up until that last 10 minutes, to be fair.
Again, you have to come back to the point that we're playing the Vanarama National League leaders. It looks now 6 points clear, 3 games to play. It looks very much like they're going to secure an immediate return to the Football League. So yes, and in the end, I don't think Guiseley can have any complaints about the result, because they were just beaten by a bigger, stronger, better side than them on the day. It was unfortunate, but I think that we need to look at the positives of this defeat, and there are some out there. I mean, for one, Will Hatfield again, just a complete
man of the
performance from him. Complete man of the match performance from him. Well deserved and well earned as well. And to lose him towards the end, to put on Tom Craddock, was a slightly odd decision. But at that point, 1-0 down, we needed to go for it. So I can understand why. That this is a team that beat us 5-0 last time. They absolutely tore us to shreds, and not just us. They've torn other teams in this National League to shreds as well. So
7
actually,
past Halifax.
To reduce them to 2, and actually to get them a little bit riled up and a little bit frustrated with 10 minutes to go is something to be proud of, and is something for which the Lions deserve great credit this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, I mean, we go again on Tuesday night. It's a big game against another side that's got ambitions. This case, Wrexham with the playoffs, and it's going to be a tough game. Again, no, you can't really, sugarcoat anything. All these games are going to be tough now.
No one making any bones about it. That's going to be a very, very tough game. We will be with you at Guiseley Radio. We will be with you on Tuesday night for that game against Wrexham in the National League, as the Lions are running out of games but still with their heads above water at the moment. Let's keep kicking and get ourselves out of that relegation dogfight. We'll see you on Tuesday. Thank you very much for joining us. You can tweet us at Guiseley Radio through the week, and we will see you on Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. Bye.